We are live. What's good, fellas? Ladies, how's it going? Y'all gotta excuse me. I'm fucking woofing. Got my Sony and shit. What up? Damone. What's good, Damone? I wait for some more people to hop on. The sun will come out tomorrow. Juice, what's good? Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow. For some reason, that shit's been in my head. Excuse me. AM Sports, what's good, y'all? Undercard, my man, Big Blunts. Boot in its damn duck season is starting early. Oh man, yo. The one thing you can count on is for fans to be fans. All right. I'll wait till we get about 30 in here and then I start cooking. Oh shit, we got 30. Okay. My boy Kareem's boxing news. Appreciate the follow chat, my guy. What no big meat voice. Oh man. All right. It's a couple of things to unpack. And I know there's gonna be a lot of other Terence Crawford fans in here, Errol Spence fans in here, but we gonna but but what we do is we always keep it a bean, right? Oh shit. Hey Jay, I'm gonna send that in a little bit. I think I put it in the chat, but I want to get this off first. All right, so a lot of people like I see them running with narratives that's not true, right? And it's funny to me because they take a bit of information and then they try to fit it in wherever they wanted to fit it into. So if you believe that Boot should have went the WBO route, you got guys that are saying that, oh man, see that's why Boots went the IBF route. See, they Crawford offered him to fight. No, that's not the truth. Everybody's timelines is off, and I'm here because now I can finally speak about it because Mr. Bozy talked about it in an interview. So this is something that probably I'm going to say between 5 to 10 of us we had knowledge of, right? So for dudes that think blue blood is always capping, right? You got a select fan base and other YouTubers that feel like YouTube that blue blood is capping, blue blood is full of shit. In actuality, in this case, nah, right? Whatever you don't agree with him, for in the past, on this particular topic, Blue Blood is keeping it a bean. Blue Blood did try to make this fight. So, if you got any strikes against Blue, that's between you and Blue. Blue's my man, so I'm gonna give him his flowers. Blue definitely tried to make this fight happen. Blue definitely placed that phone call, right? So salute to Blue. All right, so let me get the timeline, right? First and foremost, this had nothing to do with David Avenesian and Terence Crawford that deep, right? The phone call transpired late January. Okay. All right. So late January, that's when they had their phone call. Okay. So if you keep in mind what happened, Jaron Ennis had just beat Kareem Chikazin and Terence Crawford had beat David Avenesian, right? So it was looking like that Errol Spence is going to face Keith Thurman for the WBC mandatory. And so Terence Crawford is looking at multiple options. And what was suggested was Jaron Ennis, a potential fight with Jaron Ennis for later in 2023. All right. Sounds like a good fight, you know? So a phone call was placed to Bozy Ennis. I think, to my knowledge, it was Zab, Blue, and my man Dez on the phone. Now, but before I start getting into nitty gritty, I know all parties involved, right? I like all parties involved. So it's not going to be a thing of me shitting on one or shitting on the other. I'm cool with Dez. I'm cool with Blue. I don't, I met Zab, but I don't know where he was at. Cool with Espinosa. I'm cool with Bozy. Okay. So I have nothing against none of these. But Dez is the president of Black Pride. All right. So a phone call was placed for a potential fight between Jaron Ennis and Terence Crawford. Mr. Bozy, he wants that fight. Boots wants that fight. And apparently, coming from the Black Prime side, Crawford is definitely interested in that fight. Mr. Bozy does business, and Jaron does business with Stephen Espinosa and Showtime. He's not an Al Heyman fighter, right? So Black Prime has been trying to get at Jaron Ennis for some time now, right? Terence Crawford wasn't the only person they approached. Adrian Broner wasn't the only person they approached. This isn't something I heard from a second or third party. I know this for a fact. Okay. So I know Demetrius Andrade was a guy that they were looking at and talking to. Okay, so they're trying to make that fight happen. They're inquiring about, what is Jaron's, ties to Showtime and when that may be up. Standard business practices. Ain't nothing wrong there. They trying to get on. Anyway, Mr. Bozy, he's not going to give up too many details, right? I'm doing business with Showtime. If you want to do business with me, I want this fight. If Crawford wants this fight, call Showtime, make this fight happen. So Desmond, they call Showtime, they talk to Espinosa. They were on the phone for an hour or two negotiating, right? So now this is where sides kind of differ on what happened. Apparently, the talks didn't have much traction for whatever reason. Espinosa reaches out to Terence Crawford directly to gauge his interest on the fight and to let him know that Jaron Ennis is available if he wants to fight. Right? So you got some sides saying that, there wasn't dates available for that fight. You got other sides saying, Crawford might not have been interested in that fight as a number one option. Any of those things could be true. But that's basically what happened. They talked about the fight. Both fighters are interested in the fight. But for whatever reason, the fight didn't happen. And it's a couple of different theories out here. But since we got so many people in here, I think we got 95. I'll keep it a being with y'all. Whether you want to believe it or not, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence are negotiating for a fight right now. Oh, what's good? That's not, that's not opinion. That's not rumor. Terence Crawford and Errol Spence are negotiating for a fight right now. So do not be surprised if you wiping the crust out your eye, you waking up yawning, you pull out your phone and oh shit, Crawford versus Spence, summertime. Don't be surprised if that just pops up. Life's good. What's up? But that's what happened. Is Blue Blood capping? Like, some people feel like he does. Blue was directly involved in trying to make Terence Crawford versus Jaron Ennis. Both fighters wanted it. Both teams wanted it. Then you got to talk business. And as of from my side, no conversations were revisited after Crawford and Espinosa spoke about it. Now, am I mad at Terence Crawford? Do I consider that a duck? No, I don't. A lot of people call everything ducking. That's not me. I know there's more to boxing than just, hey, you want to fight? Nah, it's a whole bunch of intricate shit that happens behind the scenes and why fights don't happen. Now, Terence Crawford, a lot of fans don't want to. They don't want to come to grips with this. Terence Crawford has a lot of options right now. Terence Crawford has the WBO mandatory, and Alexis Roca, he can take that fight over to the zone and Golden Boy. Terence Crawford has an Errol Spence fight on the table, and Terence Crawford has Jaron Ennis on the table if he wants it. Now, I feel like Jaron Ennis will be the third option, being that the WBO won't allow him to face anybody except for Errol Spence because the mandatory is due, which would make sense. But yeah, so Jaron Ennis will be the third option. But is it a fight that Terence Crawford was interested in? Yeah. Was it a fight that Jaron Ennis was interested in? Bozy Ennis? Yes. Did that fight have anything to do with the December 10th card in Nebraska? No. Did that fight have anything to do with Jaron Ennis going the IBF route instead of the WBO route? No. All of this conversations happened after the Tank Davis Hector card, which Boots faced Kareem Chikaza. So dudes that want to run with that narrative, oh man, he could have went the WBO route. This had nothing to do with it. And it's hilarious to me that the fact of the matter is everybody thinks the only way Jaron Ennis and Terence Crawford could fight is if they were ordered by the WBO. That's not fucking reality. And this situation should prove it to you that you can make a fight outside of it being a Mando. Now, if we're going to be honest, is Jaron Ennis Terence Crawford's number one option? No. Errol Spence's. And I really didn't expect to see this fight because I expected Spence versus Crawford next. Which we're probably going to get. Just saying. Just something to look out for. When shit gets really, really quiet with teams. No, back and forth, no shit talking, no you ducking me. When shit gets really quiet, that's how you know they are making strides. See, again, right? Ennis basically turned down his shot at Crawford. He did not. And that's what's frustrating. And that's what's frustrating. Like I just got finished talking for fucking 12 minutes. And like these fan bases like just believe, like you just believe what you want to believe. Like, hey, shouts out to my man, the Boxing Source. Subscribe to the Boxing Source. What up, Jay?
Yo, just checking in, man. What's happening?
Reggie Owens, what's good? Yeah, but it bothers me because right, you give them all the information. I gave it to him from start to finish, right? From what happened from point A to point Z, and they still, oh man, Boots turned down the fight. Boots ain't turned down shit. When you get your teams in a room and you say, I want to fight, okay, you want to fight, the teams start negotiating. Like what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Yeah, like
what's up, Karma? How you doing?
Like
my boy Uncle Frank. What's good?
Yeah,
Frank?
and it was just weird because you had the whole thing about some of the fans that were talking about like Boots or Virtual Ortiz turning down a quote unquote mandatory shot against Terence Crawford. When that wasn't necessarily in the cards, and we already knew about the direction that Boots Ennis was going from years back. So thing about it is that the whole thing with the initial suggestion about Boots Ennis fighting Terence Crawford or having him being suggested as a mandatory, that's like out of the blue because there wasn't really anything that kind of like said that he could be a mandatory. Not when Boots was fighting guys that were in the IBF rankings that could have been an IBF interim champion, but they weren't necessarily an interim champion because Sergey Lipinets, he beat Sergey Lipinets, and he beat Casil Clayton, and those two guys fought for the interim IBF title years back. But they ended up being a draw.
AJR, I think this guy, right? He just came in like Origin. I gave everybody a complete synopsis of what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Black Prime called Bozy Ennis about a potential fight between Crawford and Jaron Ennis, Bozy Ennis told him to call Showtime. Showtime negotiated with Black Prime. Then Espinosa calls Terence Crawford to see, if he really, really wants this fight. Because you're talking through secondary and third parties. I can just talk to this person directly because Terence Crawford isn't signed to BLK Prime. That's the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I saw dudes saying, well, Boots isn't contracted to Showtime. Yeah, Crawford isn't contracted to BLK Prime. Well,
Right.
those were the two parties that were negotiating the deal, Origin. So turning down a fight, being on the phone, is just like, okay, well, Bozy Ennis, do you want this fight? No, I don't want this fight. That's turning down a fight. You call my people, I want this. Let's negotiate a deal. And then they talk on the phone, which they did. So Origin, I don't know like if you came in late, but I gave a point by point synopsis, which I'm not going to do again. I'm just going to
No
keep
need to, bro.
But
No
yes,
need to.
that's what happened.
Like, you spent like 15, 20 minutes already fucking talking about it, man. Come on, Mill.
Yeah, but no, apparently dude just came in. I gave a strong 15 minutes of exactly what happened, that they actually negotiated this fight, that both parties wanted this fight. Terence Crawford has options. One of those options
He has
is
plenty of options.
Errol Spence Jr., Alexis Roca.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yo,
you just came on. What's your thoughts?
what's my thoughts? I'm gonna be nice today. That's my thoughts. No, but on some real shit though, man. Like, I don't like. How should I say this, man, without coming off sound like an asshole? Because I mean, y'all both know where I stand at with this bullshit, man.
Right.
Appreciate you, bro.
Nah, but on some real shit though, y'all. Like you said though, bro. Like, Bud has options. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, it's whatever, because we already know what's the most lucrative option. Like, there's not even a discussion. You feel
Yeah.
me? It's not even a discussion what's the most lucrative option. And like, he doesn't have to take that Alexis Rocha fight. He don't.
No.
Because I don't understand why people keep saying like that's the fight he has to do. No, he doesn't. It's the fucking unification is Trump mandatories 100 times out of 100.
No. Majority of the times, you were right, but in certain cases, no. I'm going to say 8 to 9 times. You got me on that. It's been some times where I
Yeah, I
guess
know.
they wanted to be dickheads and be like, nah.
Oh, I know. But like a lot of those other times that you saying though, bro, it's probably because like the check will be bigger. You feel what I'm saying?
I mean,
In certain cases.
yeah, okay. So if you look at it from the aspect of right of all the options that Terence Crawford has for a potential fight, it would go rank 1 Errol Spence, rank 2
Yeah.
Alexis Roca, rank 3 Jaron Ennis, because Roca is the mandatory.
Right.
But Jaron Ennis will be a riskier fight than Alexis Roca.
Completely. He's
or
100% more riskier.
for roughly $15 to $20 million less than what you would get for Errol Spence. Jay,
Yeah,
you agree with those numbers?
Why not just take the Errol Spence fight? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Who says
bro,
he's
already
not?
know.
T?
Huh?
I know you've given up faith. I haven't given up faith. Still think this fight's gonna happen.
Yeah, man. You already know I ain't, man. Look, man. Like, I'm at my wit's end with this boy, man. I ain't saying his name, but look, I'm gonna give it a shot though, bro. Just this one last time, because I do want to see the fight, man. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they're each other's legacy fight. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we gonna keep this 100. Like, they're each other's legacy fight, man. They got to make this shit happen. But I heard I heard what you heard. The same exact thing. They are negotiating behind the scenes. They actually talking to directly to each other. So it's the truth.
And I felt like they've done a great job, because if it's not on everybody's like list where everybody is leaking information,
Right.
I just know they talking. I don't know any
They talking.
details. I just know they talking, and the target would be Summer. That's it.
Yeah, I was thinking by like July, maybe something like that in Vegas.
I'm saying August.
That's not a bad option either. But yeah, but they definitely talking. Like it ain't no game.
Hey, fellas, in the chat, y'all don't gotta believe me. Y'all don't.
Bro, they gonna believe at this point, bro, they gonna believe what they want to believe. It don't even matter no more.
See, yeah, but that's the part that frustrates me, right? And I'm gonna get close to the camera because I want people to understand this, right? I don't believe in ducking. Like I don't believe that fighters are scared. There are multiple reasons of why fights don't happen. Multiple reasons of why fights don't happen, right? So you got dudes that feel like Errol Spence is scared of Crawford. You got dudes that feel like Crawford is scared of Errol Spence. It's not
True.
fucking reality, right? So you're telling me Errol Spence, U.S. Olympian, undefeated, has dispatched everybody he's been in the ring with. He's scared of Terence Crawford.
Right.
Terence Crawford, what is he, 38-0? 39 0, something crazy?
38
Yeah.
no.
Has stopped everybody in 147 pounds, right?
Facts.
You think he's scared of Errol Spence? First off, them dudes be having like crazy ass egos. Do they know that they can lose to each other? Yes, they do.
Exactly. That's why I said it's a legacy
Do they
fight for
know
both
that
of
they
them.
can lose the boots? Yes, they do. You can look at a fighter and tell, okay, if I'm not fucking on point, he can get me out of here. He can beat me. But I feel like that's being aware. That's not fear. But there's multiple instances where other situations stop fights from happening. Whether in my JR voice, guys are being unrealistic. Guys
We've
overvalue
had
their
that happen
position.
over a lot of years when it comes to this boxing shit, bro. Like people being unrealistic with demands and all this other weird shit.
Exactly. Right. Mandela, you don't even know what money was like. See with this. You don't even know what money was offered. And the reality is, and mind you, the president of Black Prime, he's a good dude, man. He's a real good dude. Reality is, a lot of people don't necessarily trust that situation because it's very new.
Right.
And then with the Terence Crawford fight, and then right after it being the Adrian Broner fight falling through, and then Broner leaving Black Prime, it's given some people like some room to pause. Now, I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that's just the reality of it. If I see AB sign with you, and then y'all part ways before a fight happens, some people are going to start asking questions or have some reservation.
That's like the real definition of a 50-50 proposition.
Yeah, which is perfect. Which is perfectly normal. I hope Black Prime keeps doing their thing, and it keeps striving, and keep throwing fights, because the more fights we have, the better. Salute to you, Ernie. Appreciate you, bro.
Right. Yo, I mean, my thing with BLK Prime is that you want to go at it as far as like the boxing venture and try to
give me 1 second. I'm gonna let you cook.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jack.
The thing with the BLK Prime is that, like, they've had a couple of events before, like in the early part of last year. But if you just, continue to do those type of events, then yeah, I kind of get where you're going at. Like, if you want to build up to a point of trying to have a fight of a magnitude of Spence versus Crawford, but just having smaller cards in the meantime to build your reputation up, yeah, I have no issues with that. It's just that they had a number of events that happened within the sport of boxing, and then all of a sudden it just stops. And then after that, you immediately have something with Terence Crawford where all the reports go out about like how much money may have been put out or anything like that. And that type of adventure is kind of, a huge risk, right? And like, and for those that may have known, like before that fight took place, the local people that were going to be involved in that event backed out the week before. and something where you don't have that type of stability or quote unquote insurance, that'll make other people that have been well established in the boxing business be very reluctant to do business with you. So having that take place, and then the whole thing with Adrian Broner, not even before the whole thing got scrapped, but like how that event itself kind of like got organized. Yeah, that was, man.
I'm answering Karma's question. She said, "Does the entity have even that new even have the capacity to pull off a fight of that magnitude?" I'm gonna say no. Hell no.
No.
I mean
they're not even close to capable of pulling off the fight of that.
I respect your position, but we don't know. Let's not sell them short.
I'm not selling it short. It's just that I feel like it's highly unlikely. You feel what I'm saying, bro?
Is it that's a really big fight. So
hell yeah, it's a big fight.
Do we know? I'm not going to say that they don't have the ability, but they're unproven as far as with top notch events like Crawford versus Avanesian. While it was on pay-per-view, Crawford Avanesian isn't a top 10,
wasn't
top
moving.
20
It's
fight
not
of all
moving the
time.
needle.
He's not moving the needle, right?
So,
but let's like talk about the Spence Crawford fight in general, right? Like even with that, people were reluctant of trying to go full speed ahead with that particular fight because they weren't necessarily sure if all parties involved were going to be properly compensated for that fight to be taking place.
Yep, that's true.
All right, so real fast, shouts out to Mike. For anybody that's just coming in, right? If we're gonna keep it at being, Black Prime tried to circumvent Showtime.
Yeah,
isn't it like that's business? Why try to do business with Showtime when I can try to go around them and deal with Boost directly?
Yeah, exactly, bro. You like no middleman.
Mr. Bozy had that shit off at the pass, and I feel like that's what Crawford fans are upset about. I don't know why. No, you got to talk to the people that I'm doing business with, negotiate that fight. Now, if it didn't get done, it didn't get done. But for people to try to paint the narrative that Jaron Ennis didn't want the fight or return down the fight, that's not reality. Does Boots want that fight? Yeah. Boots to take either Spence or Crawford. It don't matter. And for dudes to be acting like he got something against one or something against the other, no, he just want a shot. It don't matter who giving it up.
Exactly. It don't matter who the fuck he get it against. He just want to fight either one.
What the dude say? What the dude saying to me? The girl was like, "Oh, do you want me or do you want, one of them other girls?" He was like, "Bro, I just want my dick sucked. I don't care which one of y'all do." Young boy just want a shot. He don't care about which one gives him one. He just wants a shot.
Yeah. So yeah, it wouldn't matter like if it was, Spence or Crawford. Like he just wants to fight for a world title. That's just it with him. And I just saw something. What it was. And I thought I had seen something in the comments. Damn, I'm probably.
My bad, y'all. I'm checking out. My bad, y'all. I'm checking out my Knicks and Celtic game. This Knicks and Celtic game. My fault, y'all.
Yeah, some bombs.
But not now.
I mean, motorsports. I mean, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. But at the same time, like, business is business.
Exactly. That's what people have to realize.
You have to let your people negotiate. You hire people in place. You're doing business with people. Let them negotiate. If you don't have experience with negotiating on that level, there's nothing wrong with you letting your people do their job. They're paid to do a job. Let them do it. The same way with Crawford. Crawford, BOK Prime doesn't represent Terence Crawford. He's not signed to him.
Yeah.
But he was interested. BOK was going to make the pitch. Okay. Bozy said Showtime, get a deal done.
But you already know that narrative's gonna be painted, though, bro. That
you mean like this?
Huh?
I said, you mean like this?
I already know. And bro, I know who the fuck that is too.
Yeah, I know.
We know
He's
who
a
that is.
hilarious guy.
That's the dude who said
Okay,
that
very
that's
very
the dude that
interesting.
said that what's his name? That's the dude that said Avenesian was the European champion.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hey yo, we should get Karma in here. Yo, when Karma gonna join the live, man?
Yeah.
Karma, yo, she'd be wanting all the smoke.
Nah, she funny as shit, bro. I ain't gonna cat. Like she be
Oh,
happy cracking the
what's his
fuck up on Twitter.
question from undercard?
Ooh, I like this. This is a good point.
Yep.
Karma says Bud fans are holding Boots to a standard that they don't even hold Bud to. That is true.
Yeah.
Karma, come in here.
But here's the thing though. A number of his fans, I'm gonna be straight up, a number of his fans want to act like everybody is ducking Bud Crawford.
Yes.
And that's not the case at all.
Right.
That's not even close to the case. Trust me, I've talked to a lot of people. That's not even fucking remotely the truth.
Yes.
Like they gotta realize that with Crawford, and this is one of the main issues with Crawford, is that when you have someone in Crawford that requests or has a high guarantee and was able to get a high guarantee in his last contract with Top Rank, that makes his fights more difficult to make.
Facts.
And if the math ain't mathing in his previous fights, then like you have a fight against Sean Porter. Yeah, that's a good fight, but if the money, if they ain't making the money, then
that fight almost didn't happen until we know who jumped in at the last second.
Undercard. What was the question? Oh shit. Okay, I'm sorry. They were talking. All right. So Cameron Duncan is Jaron Ennis' promoter. So Cameron Duncan is the one that he did the deal with Showtime. So I haven't talked to Cameron. I don't know Cameron. The only parties I know the president of Black Prime. Obviously, I know Blue. Bozy Espinosa. We got Dirk in the building. What's good, Dirk?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Yo, what up, fam?
How's it going?
Cool. Yeah, just listening in. That's all. Hey,
All right,
I
so
had a
this is a
quick.
good job. They want Boots to just signed the contract when Bud didn't just sign the contract with Spence because the business wasn't right.
Thank
That's
you.
a good point.
Thank you, Karma. Thank
That's
you.
a good point. That's a good
Thank
point.
you.
So,
Thank you, sweetheart.
Dirk, can you give your thoughts on the situation? I hope you got my stuff from start to finish. I may actually have to do it again because now we got 168 people.
No, I just got in just now, so no. So I imagine we're talking about Bud and Boots, right?
Yeah. All right. So let me know in the chat. If you didn't hear exactly what happened, the actual timeline, if you want me to run it back, I will.
Yeah, like a quick summary, probably.
Yeah.
All right.
Why would Earl and Bud fight Boots right now and they trying to fight each other? That's dumb business.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
What people don't realize, the only reason why Terence Crawford
That's stupid.
even entertained it was because he thought Errol Spence was going to face Keith Thurman.
Yeah, like why would they? That's dumb. That's not smart.
Oh, he going out rumors.
Keith
That's
Thurman and
So you saying Crawford going out rumors?
That's like Usyk fighting Wilder before he fight Tyson Fury. That's dumb. That's stupid. Probably get knocked out. So why would he do that?
Bleak, I'm going to run it back real fast and then I'm just going to let you cook. All right. So this particular situation has nothing to do with Crawford versus Avenesian. That fight had already happened. Jaron Ennis fight against Kareem Chikazin had already happened before this conversation took place. This conversation took place late to mid-January, around that time. All right. So BLK Prime reaches out to Bozy Ennis. Hey, I can only have 6 people on at a time, y'all. I'm sorry. Shit. All right, so BLK Prime reaches out to Bozy Ennis. inquiring about a fight with Jaron Ennis and Terence Crawford. Bozy Ennis says, I would love that fight. Talk to my folks at Showtime. Now, BLK Prime was trying to go around Showtime, obviously. They're trying to get it strictly on BLK Prime, which they should. The reality is they need subscribers. They're trying to get on. I'm not mad at them for that. But Bozy had been doing business with Showtime. Okay, well, talk to them and negotiate. BLK Prime talks to Steven Espinosa and Showtime about making a potential fight. No real traction happened for whatever reason. One side is saying one thing, the other side is saying another. One side is saying they don't have the dates available. The other side is saying that, the business wasn't right. Steven Espinosa then calls Terence Crawford and then tells Terence Crawford, if you want the fight is available for you. Boots wants that fight. We love that fight. But the reality of it, Terence Crawford has options. Now, can you believe that maybe the money wasn't as good for Terence Crawford to take that fight? Yeah. Could you believe that they possibly don't have a date available for Terence Crawford or a venue big enough on hold for Terence Crawford versus Boots? I mean, who knows, right? But at the same time, they negotiated that fight.
Facts.
So it wasn't an instance where anybody turned down any deal. It just didn't come to pass. Now, do I have my theory about why it didn't come to pass? Yes. I believe that Jaron Ennis is a second or third option to Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's main objective is about with Errol Spence, which him and Errol Spence are negotiating right now.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to stake my reputation on that. Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are negotiating for a potential bout right now, 2023 summertime.
Renegotiating.
Let's call it renegotiating.
Yeah.
So that's why we haven't heard the. Yeah. So that's why we haven't heard the Thurman announcement.
Exactly, bro. That's exactly why you didn't hear it.
I mean,
shout out to my boy Pound for Pound Sports and Entertainment. Appreciate you, Pound for Pound.
Yeah,
subscribe to my man shit. A lot of good content.
Yeah, so that's why when they had the whole little Showtime presentation last night, and they put out the schedule, their schedule or whatever it was, and they put out like all of those detailed fights that were out there, and they just had different fighters at the end of it. That included Spence, that included Thurman, that included probably Morrell or whatever, exactly. or Charlo too. So they're like saying, hey, they're leaving that spot open for Errol Spence to fight Terence Crawford. But like I said, initially, from that initial negotiation, it has to make sense for all parties involved to, be able to be properly compensated.
That was already done.
And that's the thing there.
But the thing that cracked me up is they just want to do hey, whatever contract you send, it don't matter. I'll sign it. But y'all don't carry that same energy for Bud.
Right.
Like, you got to negotiate terms, bro. This isn't fucking going to the Sizzler. Like, you know what I'm saying? This isn't like this is business. Millions of dollars is on the line.
Yeah,
you can't just take whatever offer is set.
Niggas can send you a contract with some bullshit and you get like fucking $50K and homeboy would take home fucking 15 mil.
And here's the other thing too with like you were talking about the thing with Bud and Boots too. Like that it's the same situation. Like everything has to make sense for that fight to take place because like I said with Bud Crawford, like he asked for a certain guarantee for each of his fights. Regardless of what happens in the box office, he asked for a certain guarantee. But if you deal with certain people that put up the money, if they feel like it's not feasible, where they don't feel like they'll be able to make enough money off of a fight, it doesn't matter if it's Bozy Ennis or Vergil Ortiz or Errol Spence. If they don't feel like they'll be able to make enough money off of that from what Terence Crawford asked for, it's not going to happen.
Exactly, because they want to be able to recoup that money.
Right.
True. This is a great point. You are worth whatever you're able to negotiate.
That's fact. I agree with that.
Crawford fans, like y'all said earlier,
he agreed to the 35%. Why you didn't take that?
Yeah, but they want everybody they want to believe everybody's afraid of Terence Crawford. That's not reality, bro. These dudes
not even close to it.
There are guys that fought Terence Crawford for free. Y'all do realize that, right? There are guys that have fought Terence Crawford for free.
Exactly, amateurs.
And the amateurs. Okay, I'll give you another joke. You think Shakur Stevenson get paid to spar Terence Crawford?
Nope.
No.
Hey, Mill, that's sparring, bro. Come on, man. That's sparring.
You're still in the ring. Have you ever seen somebody knocked out in sparring?
You changing the goalpost, man.
No, you got to realize a lot of these dudes got egos. So when sparring, like they don't want stories getting leaked out. That's why certain people don't spar certain people.
You know what's a myth in boxing? The other fighters aren't afraid of other fighters. Yes, they are. That's a lie.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Don't boots get a hard time getting sparring? Like that should tell you so.
I've been listening the whole time. You gonna let me cook a little bit?
Oh yeah, I got you.
Okay, look. So it's a lie out there. It's a myth that fighters are afraid of other fighters. Look at Tyson. He used to say he was afraid before every fight. And a lot of times it's not just the fact that they can get hurt, is that they can lose their little image. A lot of boxers, all they know is boxing. So their feeling of importance comes from boxing. So they're zero, and their sense of importance comes from that. So if they lose, a lot of them is real insecure. A lot of them is real sensitive. So a lot of fighters are scared. Now, speaking about Boots, why would you fight?
I said scared of other fighters. I didn't say scared.
Scared.
I said scared of other fighters. Go ahead.
Be saying other fighters aren't scared of other fighters, but they do be scared. So fighting Boots right now is like Usyk fighting Wilder. That's dumb business. Why would they do that? So the fight that we all want is Crawford versus Spence. Now something has to. Let me point this out. Jaron, come. Let me point this out. Errol Spence, shout out to Errol Spence, shout out to Texas. Errol Spence has to put his foot down. Here's the example. Stephen Fulton. Hold on. Stephen Fulton is from where? Philly, right?
Yes.
Tank is from where? Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
Why is it that the two up north niggas got the fights that they want, but this nigga from Dallas, he all nice. He got to put his foot down with Heyman and say he wants to fight. He too loyal. Like these niggas got to come up with their own mind. It's crazy that it's crazy that Stephen Fulton is fighting the ESPN fighter going to Japan, and then this guy got to fight with Ryan. Something is going on. So Al Heyman don't want to fight. Errol Spence, listen, Errol, you listening to this? Stop being all extra nice to Al Heyman and put your because Al Heyman worked for you. You don't work for Al Heyman. That's what the problem is. It's obvious. It's obvious. So that's the fight we want to see, though. But go ahead. I just wanted to say that.
All right. So
I disagree.
when I say
League,
real fast,
go ahead.
When I say fighters are afraid of other fighters,
you know what?
I'm saying, hey, wait, real fast. When I say fighters aren't afraid of other fighters, I'm saying a fighter will get in there with another fighter. That being the so-called fear doesn't stop them from getting in that ring. Do they have apprehension? Do they want to get hurt? Do they want to get knocked out? No, they're men, but it doesn't stop them from getting in the ring. What stopped them from getting in the ring is money.
Facts. It's all money.
All these dudes will fight if the money is right.
So let me ask you this, Bill. So
it don't be the fear that stops fight from happening.
With nice promotion, don't you think? With nice promotion and right marketing, don't you think Errol Spence versus Crawford does more pay-per-views or equal to Caleb Plant and Canelo?
No.
You don't think so?
I'm gonna be real. I think that's.
I mean, if they go out of their personalities and actually try to promote the fight, maybe, but that's not.
I think you could do between $750K and
exactly.
$850K.
I would say the second time. Okay, so depending how great the first fight is, the rematch will do more.
Between 500 to $1 million.
Okay, so if you're always bringing about money, Al Heyman had all this money to give Canelo, but a fight that's going to be better, not just financially, but also historically, he can't afford that fight.
He can't afford
because Canelo is a proven ticket seller and a proven pay-per-view sale.
He's better than Canelo.
He can't afford to fight, Lee.
Huh?
But that's your opinion, bro. Most people will say Canelo's going to do more, no matter who he fights.
The Canelo fight already happened. So if you're sitting behind the scenes and coming up with the projections, you're like, okay, we can equal that. It's obvious that the fight, they're not going to get as much money as Canelo because what he got, like 40 million? They overpay.
No, but you're
that,
projecting. You're saying that it's going to do 750.
I
But
didn't say
Earl
that.
and Spence have
Equal to, at least a minimum equal to. So if you take if their fight is worth less money financially than Canelo,
hey, Leak, is that how you do? Is that how you do?
Make the fight?
Wait,
that's crazy.
Wait,
Go ahead.
Is that how you do your projections, Leak? Do you go by what another man did?
I'm just saying.
Wait, just hear me out. I let you cook. I said, do you go by what another man did on your projections, or do you go by what these two guys have been proven to do? Every business has a choke point, does it not?
Yeah.
Every deal or fight has a choke point. So where they may be comfortable with guaranteeing a set amount for Canelo might be lower with Spence and Crawford. And if it does well, you're an entrepreneur, Lee. Don't you bet on yourself?
Yes, I do.
So
here's the kick.
Wait, Lee. Okay, you chose not to take a salary and work for somebody, and you chose to bet on yourself. Exactly. But isn't that the exact same thing that PBC is asking Spence and Crawford to do?
Not necessarily, because
explain.
It's not necessarily because that's their way of doing business. You're banking on yourself getting in the ring, but other people, Tyson, Floyd, all these guys was getting. All these guys, it's like you can either work for straight commission selling cars, or you get like a base salary plus commission. Terence Crawford won a base salary plus commission. Okay. Why can't they make the fight happen? Check this out.
Wait, because they couldn't agree on the number.
I'm gonna break it down for you.
I said, Malik, I'm not going to. We're not going to turn this into a Spence Spence versus Crawford negotiations conversation. That's what we're not going to do.
You're talking about. You said who ducked who. We're just saying. We're just saying. I'm hoping Errol Spence listened to this, because, like I say, a lot of times when fighters,
the who ducked who was more so about the Terence Crawford and Jaron Ennis thing.
Oh yeah, I don't that's a duck.
Like, but I'm gonna let you cook. I'm just saying they couldn't agree on a number, Lee. Just because you want X and I'm willing to offer Y, are we both wrong? Is one of us wrong? No, neither one of us is wrong. We want what we want. But go ahead.
Errol Spence has to do Errol Spence. Al Heyman need Errol Spence. Errol Spence don't need Al Heyman. Al Heyman is too controlling. He's trying to carry too many hats. If you're the advisor, if you're going to get paid anyway, why does the fight have to be on Showtime? Why can't the fight be overseas? Why can't he dip into the overseas money like Eddie Hearn?
Is the overseas money available? Wait, I'm asking.
Wait. Is
the overseas money? Wait.
Oh,
the guy that was getting money overseas, right? The guy that you just mentioned,
Eddie Hearn.
When asked about Terence versus Crawford overseas, what did Eddie Hearn say?
I don't know. What did he say?
Wait, let the people answer. What did Eddie Hearn say? Anybody remember?
Terence Crawford is not big enough for us to only fight.
He doesn't make enough. He doesn't.
The guy that you're talking about, he said that fight isn't big overseas.
Exactly, he's not.
Now
we know damn well that's a lie, bro.
No, you should know that's
you're referencing a person that has experience. I don't have experience overseas. I'm just saying Crawford wanted X, Al offered Y. Okay, they settled on a percentage deal. Terence Crawford said he agreed to everything. He said the only reason why the fight didn't happen was because they wanted to fight in February 4th, 2023, and he wanted to fight before the year is out. So why the fuck are we still talking about splits?
Yeah, I just hope the fight get happen. I gave up on it. I don't.
Oh yeah, Lee. I had a question for you.
I wanted to get on. Yeah, I wanted to get on this thing though, because
I just wanted to say something to Lee real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Lee. What's up, D?
Chilling, bro. Look, this is the only thing. Like your rebuttal about the Spence and Al Heyman thing. Spence, and trust me, there was a phone conversation that got leaked. He's been on Al's ass to make that fight, bro. That's why I had to just tell you.
Yeah, and
so it ain't no Al Heyman is doing this and EJ doing that. EJ wanted to make that fight happen. He's been on Al.
Earl need to move to Philly for like 3 months. That fight can happen. He needs some up north energy in him. He
got the energy. He got the energy.
People energy or something.
No.
Look, shout out to Stephen Paul. You see that fight happen, didn't he? Stephen Fulton probably said, listen, I wanted to happen. He worked for me. Shout out to Fulton. Shout out to Scooter, bro.
It's less politics in those lower weight classes.
Man, you always got
much
something
lower,
to listen,
much
bro.
lower.
Way less politics.
Much lower. But I wanted to get on this whole thing with Canelo, and that with Canelo is completely different because Canelo brings his own fan base and everything like that.
That's real shit.
Now the thing with Spence and Crawford, we have like our what I would say evidence in reference to what they project a fight between Spence and Crawford would be. Spence has had his fight with Sean Porter. He's had a pay-per-view fight against Dennis Lucas. Crawford has had a pay-per-view fight with Sean Porter. He's had a pay-per-view fight with David Evanson. And if they feel like those numbers, if having those two guys face each other aren't necessarily good enough for them to make that fight happen with what both parties are asking for, then the fight's not going to happen. They're not in the business to lose money. Straight up, they're not in the business to lose money. In a fight of that magnitude, they're trying to do it to where they're going to have the maximum profits possible.
It's all about a profit.
So,
changing the goalpost, bro.
That's not. I mean, this is not moving the goalposts. It is what it is. Like, I mean, you could check the numbers for those pay-per-views.
Hey, yo, JR, everything that Steven Espinosa say or whatever, you just repeat them, bro. You gotta do your own. You gotta have your own talking points, bro. You sound like everybody.
No. We don't do that. We don't do that because you know who Steven Espinosa is. You clearly know who Steven Espinosa is. You clearly know what he has as far as making fights happen or not. Because it's not just about promoters; it's about the networks. The networks are the ones. Hold on. You've been cooking all this time now. You about to burn the whole kitchen down. All right. Man, fights can be made or fights can be brought up many times over. But if the networks don't accept it or the networks don't feel like it's good enough for them, those fights ain't taking place.
Hey, Jay, I'm going to remind everybody of something. Do you remember when Sergio Martinez wanted to fight? Who's the guy?
Paul Williams? Oh
no, it wasn't Paul. It wasn't Paul Williams. They accepted the person, right? The network HBO denied Sergio Martinez this fight, saying it wasn't worth it. So he had to drop the WBC title, and then HBO approved that same opponent for chopping.
I remember. I
think it was Sebastian Zibic or something like that.
I'm trying to remember his name.
Zibic?
I think it was Sebastian Zibic.
Sebastian Zibic.
Who that was? Yeah. Okay.
So that's how the networks get down.
Yeah, because I mean,
I be feeling you on certain things, but the network is the one. Everybody blames Al a lot of times. The network is the one that put up the money.
The network is the ones that got approved.
Al and the networks don't agree on. Okay, well, we only got 20 guaranteed for Spence and Crawford. Y'all got to get the rest on the back end. Lee, the back end is a 90-10 split.
Okay. So let me ask you.
Wait, Lee.
Mill.
You would do that bet on yourself. You gonna say no to a 90-10 split?
Crawford.
I'm asking you.
I bet on it. Yeah. Plus, I don't have no debt, so I'm not really desperate for the money. So let me ask you this though: as an advisor, isn't he supposed to be open to other options and make the most money for his fighters?
Yes.
So why can't he go outside of what he's normally doing? He's actually competing against himself. That's why he told Deontay Wilder to turn in $120 million because he's competing against himself.
Wait. We'll see.
Now
see exactly. Wait. Is it Wilder? Wilder's going overseas, right?
Huh?
I said Wilder's going overseas, right?
Now he is. We're talking about 2019.
I said, is Wilder going overseas?
He went overseas. I don't know what fight is going to happen. I don't know.
No, I said, is he? According to what Wilder said, his next fight is going to be overseas, right?
Oh, I heard him say he wanted it overseas. He was negotiating.
Yeah, they're talking about Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, when the money is right, you can look this up with history. Al Heyman fighters go wherever the money is. Because last time I checked, Charles Martin, Al Haymon fighter, went overseas,
to
got
fight
his
Anthony
biggest
Joshua.
bag ever.
Last time I checked, Daniel Jacobs, an Al Haymon fighter, was able to get a fight with Canelo Alvarez on his
Mikey
own.
Garcia.
Now that 120 million is always referenced, right?
That's what's going on
Lee,
with Stephen
you're a
Fulton.
businessman.
Yeah,
So it was 20 million for Dominic Brazil and then 40 for Joshua for the 2 fights. Is that fight with Joshua worth $40 million? Or was it potentially worth more?
Yes.
Was
Yeah.
it, huh?
Yes, because he fought
Shit.
Fury, who he had a draw with. Did he make 40
No.
million?
We're just talking about the Anthony Joshua fight. Is that fight worth potentially more than 40 million guaranteed? And then you tell me what Anthony Joshua was going to get.
Are you talking about in 2019?
Yeah, when you talked about the 100 million.
He was worth 40 million, yeah. And the only way that wasn't a good deal is if Al Haymon matched it. So did Al Haymon get him 120 million?
Bro.
With
Anthony
Al
Joshua got $85 million fighting fucking
because his
Andy
profile
Ruiz.
was bigger. His profile was bigger.
But what I'm saying to you is if you just pencil yourself in for a guaranteed number, you could fuck yourself in the end. You know that in business.
But you can also fuck yourself too, waiting on this mysterious back end money from a guy who competes against himself that controls everything.
Bro, so you're telling me I should take 2 guaranteed sums for the initial fight in the rematch, which turned out a year later. It's like being Scottie Pippen, right? The dude told Scottie, "Hey, I don't think you want to sign this because you're going to be worth way more money once the new network broadcasting deal gets signed, right?" And Scottie took the guaranteed money that was right then and there. And then Scottie went from being like a top 10 paid small forward to being like what? Y'all know what I'm talking about if you watch The Last Dance.
Hey Mill, but you know what your boy Al Haymon did?
What?
His slickness and control freak ways. He manipulated Luis Ortiz and told him not to take that fight because he already had the fight with Deontay Wilder planned.
He matched the money.
Ho! Why would you fight a southpaw that you already knocked out and it didn't mean nothing? Because that was Heyman's wish. That wasn't Wilder's wish. Heyman is forcing his will on the fighters.
Wait.
Bro, if you don't like Al Haymon, just say I don't like Al Haymon.
It was Heyman's wish. So you don't think the network wanted? So you don't think the network wanted a Deontay Wilder fight?
He didn't prepare him right.
You see what I'm saying?
That position. He got Wilder messed up. That's not right, bro. Y'all gotta
for
see
the people that don't. I said for the people that don't know you, right? I gave you gave me a situation. I gave you a rebuttal in sports of where somebody took guaranteed money and he ended up being worth more. You don't pencil yourself in for a set fucking number. I always bet on myself. And last time I checked, first off, anybody in the chat, this is my homie. My homie always bets on himself. So he's kicking bullshit right now. Because he don't like Heyman. My homie don't work for anybody. He works for him fucking self. And he always bets on himself, no matter what the situation is.
That's why Al Haymon couldn't control me. So what happens is a lot of these fighters is in debt and they intimidated because they don't read contracts and they don't have their own worth.
Whoa. Leak.
Al Haymon don't scare me. I don't have that, so he can't control me.
Hold on. I gotta stop you right there, bro. I gotta stop you right there, Leak.
Al Haymon couldn't
stop you right there, Leak. This is real shit. This is real facts, bro. I've never heard a PBC fighter really be fucked up when it comes to bread. I heard that with Top Rank. I heard that with Don King. You feel me? Like, I ain't never heard that shit. The only person that's been fucked up probably was AB. And Al still looking out for this nigga.
And he fucked himself up.
Let's take this. Say fighters that's not on the level of Errol Spence.
We turn this into
they fighting every 16 months. How they getting paid? How they getting paid? They getting allowances like Adrian Broner? How they getting paid, T?
Most of them get their full checks, bro.
and that's enough for them. Even though they fighting every 16 months, they got to pay their advisor. They got to pay.
Obviously, because if they are getting enough bread, they don't have to fucking fight more than once or twice a year. You feel what I'm saying? They're not getting those pennies, so they eating obviously.
And you know what? They was always complaining about activity. They never complained about.
They never
money.
complained about bread. Exactly, bread. Exactly, bro.
Money, activity equates to legacy. You need to stay active to improve.
You want legacy or money, bro?
Exactly.
Man,
I want the bread. Fuck the legacy.
Man, this is prize fighting.
Wait.
What was it? What was it that
you don't want the money, Lee?
Huh?
Lee, you don't want the money?
Yeah, I want them. You going
okay.
money.
Lee be talking all that shit. Lee, you drive a convertible. I'm not trying to hit none of that shit, yo.
Listen.
I say this thing.
I would like
this
to
nigga
get a fight more than that.
Man, stop it, Lee, man.
Lee talk that legacy shit to y'all, yo.
Nah, but if you already, hey, yo, Will, like if
downtown, yo.
Let me ask the panel this: you already got generational wealth. What else? How many cars can you buy? You got a Maybach, you got all these houses, you got to fight for something outside of that. Your children, your legacy, something has to live on. So I understand the money part, but you also have to have things higher than that. What's going to wake you up in the morning? A lot of
fighters got businesses, bro.
You feel me?
Outside of boxing.
Talk about the money, but
hold on. Look, y'all. Carmen just asked a good ass question. Has anybody heard about Broner owing back taxes? Nope.
Interesting.
Nope.
But he recently said he's staying in the Airbnb though. But that's Broner. Al Heyman is not responsible for how people.
I've heard a lot of shit about Broner, bro, that I'm not going to expose on the air. But let's just keep it like this. He ain't as fucked up as everybody made it out to be. But my thing is though, he's reckless with his bread. That's just the truth. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it like that.
Hey, shout out to Trill with the real joy. Man, them bills ain't gonna buy me shit. You damn right.
That's bad. That's true.
Like I said, if you already got $5 million in the record, what else you fighting for?
Hey yo, DSG's doing well.
He's doing very fucking well.
These are people I know personally.
He's not good. He don't fight no more. He a real estate artist.
Yo, come spring, Stephen Fulton's gonna be doing real well.
I hope so. Guess why? Because he stood up to Heyman.
It's gonna be.
Oh my God, Leak, stop! Come on, bro.
Yo, come on, man. Yo.
He stood up the scooter, bro. Errol Spence is too friendly and nice.
Leak, when the last time you been home?
I haven't been home in 4 years. I'm gonna come out there.
Exactly.
I'm gonna come up there. I'm gonna come out there.
Take the temperature. It's a bunch of dudes doing good, right? And you got a bunch of guys that are critiquing like Al Heyman contracts, but they've never read a management contract for like a Keith Connolly or like fucking Dave McWater. Like, you ever notice that they don't care about anybody else's contract but Al Heyman?
Exactly.
The reality is, this is the perfect fighter for Al Heyman is a dude that doesn't manage his money. Al Heyman is specifically for guys that they aren't a me, they aren't a you, Lee, they aren't a Teak, a fucking JR, right? He saves guys from themselves.
No, he's not saving them. No, he's not. No,
Let me finish, Lee. Let me finish. He saves guys for themselves. You got plenty of dudes that fuck up money. You got plenty of dudes that don't understand anything about investing, right? They're Al Heyman fighters, right? So he tells you what to invest, how to invest, how much to invest, right? He sets you up for a life after boxing. Exactly. This isn't my opinion. This is what they are telling me.
Yo, prime example, bro. Julian J. Rock Williams. You know how much you know how much how well he's fucking doing. You know it. Because I fucking know.
Yes.
Like I got niggas that rent property from him. Like
shout out to J Rock. Hopefully
it ain't no hopefully. He's good. He's doing real fucking well.
Redman and Al Heyman set J Rock up nice.
I seen the interview with Breadman say he did set him up nice.
Set him up nice.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. I remember vividly when Errol Spence, before he signed with Al Heyman, he was talking to Spence Sr. and he said that he was talking about to Spence about life after boxing, even before he signed his first contract, even before his first professional fight. He put generational wealth into these fighters' heads. You feel what I'm saying? He puts their wealth before their career. That's what he's always done. That's why you don't hear nobody ever talk about money when it comes to him.
You can't get mad at Leak because Leak comes from the mindset of I want everybody to have control of their own shit. That's what Leak.
And ain't nothing wrong with that.
I know, but the reality is some niggas ain't built for that.
They not.
It's just not. Shouts out to Nito and Rachel. What's good, y'all?
Shut up.
That's done, bro?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Nah, if I work for Al Heyman, Al Heyman worked for me. Like, so I would have a different mindset. I would tell Al Heyman, this is what you got to do when we work together as a team. But he wouldn't be able to control me like that. Nobody can control me like that. I'm uncontrollable. So
it's not how
I'll probably clash out.
Hey yo, just run into him in Ohio, just steal him, Lee. Like we ain't even gotta go through all this. We turned this into an argument. Just steal him, yo.
Yeah.
You clearly got me.
I don't
down the middle. Turn that bitch over too.
I don't like the way he's taking advantage of Errol Spence because Errol Spence is nice and trustworthy and shit like that.
Leak, let it go, bro. Like my
this nigga.
Oh, okay. Hey, Lee. Hey, Lee. Somebody want to holler at you, Lee.
Yeah. Let's go.
Shout out to Errol. Go ahead.
No, they coming up.
They gonna hop on.
They gonna hop on.
Who that?
Tell them to jump on.
That gotta be Rach.
Shout out to Rachel. I like her in the corner too.
Oh boy. Oh shit. I'm about to let me get my drink, yo. Let me get my drink.
No, hey, what's good, Rach?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Rachel?
Wait,
this is my first time meeting you. Nice meeting you, Rachel.
Nice meeting you. Happy Sunday. I hope you guys enjoyed the fights yesterday.
You're training in the corner.
The fights are great.
Hey, yo, what do you think of that? The Maxeo cards.
I mean, I think that at the end of the day, that the complaints about, I think the complaints about the scorecards were warranted. But at the end of the day, do we agree that the right man won?
Yeah.
If we agree that the white man won, okay, so the fuck are we complaining about?
Right.
It doesn't matter.
They always gonna find something
Doesn't
to
matter.
complain about, Mom.
To me, it's like a minor complaint.
That's who is it? Knucklehead Gibbons that's complaining and all that stuff. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but at the end of it, like, it'd be different if we all had Magsayo winning, and that would be an upset, right? But we all agreed. As far as what I've seen on the Twitter and on the Instagrams and stuff like that, 98%, really did say that Figueroa, the right man still won at the end of the night. It doesn't matter. No one's gonna go back 20 years from now and say, "Oh, well, these were the scorecards." All they're gonna look at is the result, and if everyone agreed on the result, then there really is. I don't care about the judge switch. Okay, do the judge switch and put it to Magsayo. Still would have been a majority decision.
Fucking lost.
Yeah, so
exactly.
Okay, I didn't watch it.
But this is my beef with that situation, Rach. So what if Brandon Figueroa doesn't dominate those last 3 rounds and Magsayo does? That's my problem with the judges' scorecards. It's like I need the judges' scorecards to reflect the fucking fight. It's like they filled those out, 2 days before because they're in Texas and Brandon is a star in Texas.
Whoa! It was in Cali.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I didn't know it was in California.
So you biased already.
I thought it was. I thought it was Texas.
So he lost to Gary Russell with one hand. So what is he talking about? That's just karma. He should have.
No.
He lost. Gary Russell beat him, bro.
I thought Gary Russell did beat him, but at the same time, those first 6 to 7 rounds, Mark Magsayo looked good.
Yeah,
I can't deny
he did, but at the same time, like, you have to understand, like, let's take accountability for what it is. Dude had to cut 0.8 in a division that they were lobbying for at the WBC in November. They were asking him to be ranked extremely high in the 26 division. So they knew that if you're going to be ranked in the 26 division, your first responsibility is to make weight. And he came out 0.8, stripped to absolutely nothingness. Like, your draws are 0.8, and then had to take the next 2 hours. When you take the next 2 hours to actually make the weight, your body is weakened.
Exactly.
That is something that he has to take accountable for, and he was taking those shots and could not. If he was trained properly in his stamina and his legs, etc., that would have meant nothing when his legs went out because of the fact that he couldn't make the weight.
Yep. And his own promoter was talking about
right?
that too.
That's real talk.
He faded in round 10. That's where it started. So I give you that.
And that's where she's
Sorry,
talking
what?
about where the 0.8 with the weight, it drains you later on in the fight.
Yeah, we're not talking about 0.2. We're talking about close to a pound.
Exactly. Like, imagine having to lose a fucking pound in literally what, 1 or 2 hours, like you were saying?
Yeah, 2 hours. He had 2 hours to make the weight.
Oh my goodness.
Now, Rach, you started out as a strength and conditioning coach?
Yes.
All right, so let me ask you this. What's the average, what's a healthy weight to cut down to? Like, should you be 20 pounds out of your fighting weight, 15 pounds out consistently? What?
It's dependent on how much you weigh. So, for example, a lower weight division, like you shouldn't be more than, right? So, for example, the IBF, when they say that you should only be 10 pounds over the weight limit the day after, during the morning of your fight, that doesn't hold true to someone who's a light heavyweight. They can drink a gallon of water and gain that 10 pounds. So it should be a percentage of your body weight that you should be calculating on how much you should be walking around.
Oh, all right. It makes sense.
Hey, easy bands. They only let me have 6 people in there. I'm sorry, bro. But
Yo, Rachel, I wanted to ask Rachel a question.
I'm here.
Oh, no, because I've always noticed that Tito, he never misses weight. Like I've been watching him for a long time, his whole career. I've never seen him miss weight. So that's why I put a lot of stock into what you're saying.
It has to do with lifestyle. The thing that I've noticed is that the mentality of a lot of boxers is that, oh, I do this for 12 weeks out of the year if they're only fighting one time a year, and 2 times possibly if you're fighting twice a year, and then they blow up gigantically and enjoy life, quote unquote. The problem with that being said is that your muscles, your bones, everything starts to get used to the weight that you're carrying, and when you're starting to try to fire those fast twitch muscles on a heavier weight, it causes a lot more damage than, oh, okay, no, Nito's taking my phone.
It depends on the body too. The thing about a lot of fighters is they don't listen to their body, right? So like for me, 10 pounds going into the week of is perfect for me. But for a lot of people, that's a lot, right? So you got to learn to understand your body, because for me, I can sit in the tub with Epsom salt and lose about 4 pounds in 20 to 30 minutes. And a lot of people can't do that. Right? A lot of people can't do that. So you got to learn to know, like, say, for instance, the kid that I'm training, the 2 guys that I'm training from Philly, the Price brothers.
Yeah.
Dylan had a hard time kind of making the last 2 or 3 pounds, while for me, that would have been so much easier for me, because I went and did the same routine that I would have done. And he was, he was hurting a little bit. The last couple pounds, he was hurting. So fighters need to understand how the body works. For me, I've been doing it for such a long time that I know how my body functions. I know what I need to eat, and I know, because this is the thing. The majority of the people is, or a lot of the fighters, they do is they cut the water down, right? They cut the water down, and so they're eating still a little bit, but none of it is being flushed down. So the weight, they're cutting the weight. They're not eating that much. They're not drinking that much, and they're dying. You know, they, it's hard for them to get the weight. For me, I'm drinking a lot of water. I'm training. I'm still sweating like crazy. I'm burning all the fat, and I'm doing it like it's normal, except that I'm cutting my food intake. But then I'm still normal coming down because like if you get it stuck inside you, all that crap, guess what? You ain't gonna lose that weight, and it's gonna be really hard for you to lose that weight. So for me, I do the normal routine. I just drop the thing, and then I lay off the carbs.
Nito,
So yeah.
I need
when you
follow
when
that
you was
advice.
fighting at 112, when you was fighting the likes of Victor Chinian, you was known as a big flyweight. Was your lifestyle the same, or did you change that lifestyle as you got up to the higher weights? Because you was a big guy. I remember when I was that Victor Chinian. I was mad when you beat him. That was my dog. How was it mad when you did that though? But I know you had to get revenge for your brother. How was
Yeah.
it back in 2007? Was you had the same lifestyle, or you just had to incorporate that later?
Back in the days, I was not disciplined. I was just like everybody else. I would eat the hell out of everything and balloon up to like 145, and
Oh
and
damn, yeah,
try to
that's a
cut
lot of weight
down
to
the
lose.
weight. Yeah, I had a lot of
A whole
weight to
lot of
lose. I
weight
mean,
to
I,
lose.
I was
Yeah.
living a life, man. I was a world champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up in the ghetto.
Look, Tito, I ain't even mad at you, bro. You feel me? Like once you get some bread in your pocket, you're a world champion. You beat who you beat. Hey, look, man, it happens.
Well, and that's the thing is that like what we really key in on that nobody wants to key in on because maybe it's uncomfortable is the
Right.
mentality and emotional aspect. Well, Nonito, you have to remember he grew up without electricity. There was no refrigeration, so they did a lot of dried foods like dried fish, etc.
Right.
And so when we started dating. And he was the world champion, but I'm meeting him at 140, 145. I'm like, bro, slow down on the breadsticks at Olive Garden. Like, what the, like, it's unlimited. And I'm like, what is going on? And
I try to stuff myself. That was the thing with me was because I grew up so poor that when I had food, I'll stuff the hell out of my stomach. I don't care. I feel like if I feel like I'm gonna explode, I want to taste this. I want to taste that. I want to, I just eat everything, man.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yo, real fast. Want to send a shout out because we got a $20 super chat. My man Caps in full G. This is a question for you, Rach.
Oh no. What was the question? Ms. Ray, what do you think about CBP and what happened when between Casimiro with CBP and your team with Vada? First boxer to sign up. I read it about when it started asking for 8 weeks, but got 6 to 4 from Casimiro. Okay, so the clean boxing program is so there's different programs. What you have to understand is that there's the 24/7 365. That's Nonito was the very first one who volunteered into that program. We paid the price on the price tag to just get into the program, and that meant that anywhere in the world we were, they would follow us, whether we were in camp or not. So that's one program. The second program, which is the clean boxing program, which the WBC funds, is the top 10 boxers of all weight categories in both genders. So if you start to look at that and what that would cost and what their expenditure is to maintain the continuous testing of the top tier guys is expensive. Whereas if you volunteered it and put your freaking money where your mouth is a whole different program. So that being said, they were touting that Casimiro, first of all, was in CBP. He wasn't in CBP because I actually had to give them his whereabouts. I knew exactly where he was training. I knew exactly where he was staying. And I had to give it to the WBC for them to track him down. So that, that is I didn't want to rely on the WBC's funding to make sure that he was upright. So we wanted VADA testing, which for the fight, which is more stringent testing, more frequent, which, you know, they did not submit those paperworks until after 2 weeks that we had been fighting for it. And at that time I had already pulled it.
Damn, that's a very detailed answer. Since we got you on here, Rach, all right, so the situation is BLK Prime offered, well, they contacted Mr. Bozy about a potential fight with Jaron and Terence Crawford. And Mr. Bozy sent them to Stephen Espinosa to have them negotiate the fight. Crawford fans are basically saying because of that, Jaron Ennis ducked. What's your thoughts on it? You're a manager. You negotiate fights all the time.
No, that's complete BS. I mean, Jaron Boots Ennis has a promotional agreement with Cameron Duncan. He's under D&D Boxing. So his promotional agreements with them, he has an exclusive contract for his fights under Showtime. He's one of a number of fighters that have an actual TV network deal. So with that being said, if BLK wants to do that, I think it's a little bit, you know, funny to me because of the fact that what are you going to do with your WBO that has already stipulated that Golden Boy had, I'm going to assume Golden Boy or Terence Crawford had pushed the button because the mandatory wasn't even ordered for April or May. And Alexis Rocha is not supposed to be ordered until those 2 times. So he would have to have a step aside that the WBO would approve and would take. And at this point, I feel like you're throwing someone under the bus who's the IBF interim champion and is in line in case Spence decides to move up, and try to take his positioning in the IBF and with his own people who have already put in the amount of money with Boots Ennis.
Okay, sure. Appreciate the breakdown.
That's so important reference to the whole mandatory thing, because to have that kind of come up at this particular time period when it isn't due for another couple months.
Correct. It was you have to remember that it's not due until April, May. And the timeline of when he met Golden Boy was January 28th. And shortly after that, a mysterious push of the mandatory was given when the WBO doesn't even have to accept any push until April or May. So was it an easy way out for, you know, Bud to say, hey, I'm already tied up, so there's nothing I can do. Oops, sorry, my bad. Because there's nothing, it's in the rules and regulations. Anyone that wants to say anything different can bring it up themselves and read it. It's in damn plain English. He doesn't have to do a mandatory until 18 months. Why was Alexis Rocha allowed?
Yeah. So it's almost, I guess, be at 16 months right now, because May would be 18 months from the Sean Porter fight. So
correct. So why would the only reason that Bud would actually take on the mandatory is if he accepted him to come early, because by law, the bylaws of the WBO, he is not required to take on a mandatory until 18 months. He would have had to say, okay, I agree.
So the fight won't happen until like May, right? Or June. So that'd be 18 months, right?
Correct.
Or they can't announce it in 18 months. Which one is it? Announce it or make the fight?
No.
They can't mandate for 18 months.
Oh, okay. So gotcha.
Yeah, so when they made that announcement a couple of weeks ago in reference to Crawford and Rocha, that's like at least a couple months before they were even supposed to call whoever the mandatory challenger was going to be for the WBO. That's what he has as the WBO super champion, is 18 months per time that a mandatory can be called.
That's good business. That's good business for Kurt Flood, because he get to stay active.
Stop calling him Kurt Flood.
It is Kurt Flood because he's standing up.
No, he's not.
Shout out to Kurt Flood, Terence Crawford. So he fought in December, right? If he fight again in June, he gonna fight twice since Errol fought. So who's really the smart one? So that's what I'm saying.
My bad, y'all. My phone
He's
died.
doing something right. At least he getting a fight. He's not in a position of Demetrius Andrade where he drops it. So keep his options
Listen,
open. Also,
I think
what's the dude? Hey Rachel? What's the dude named Paco? The dude from Puerto Rico. He said
Paco,
that
yeah.
he would consider Terence Crawford fighting Jamel Charlo even before the winner of Tim Tszyu and Tony Harrison for the super champion. So he got the WBO's backing. So don't be surprised if he fight Charlo for undisputed before he fight Earl. He got options.
He's not fighting Charlo,
All right,
Leak. Let it go, bro.
All right, bro.
Yeah, here's my thing. Here's my thing, gentlemen. Like, I don't really, honestly, I don't really give a shit. Okay, I like, if he's gonna get the bag, go get your bag. I have no hate on him getting bagged, but be accountable for the
Facts.
decisions that you are making within your career. And if you get hate or flack for it, that's your decision. But don't play this game where you think that I don't see or nobody else sees that you play the WBO to order a mandated fight that wasn't due until April. Just say, okay, you know what?
So
I don't have a fight lined up. So you know what I'm going to do is duck this way.
So you said
Thank
Crawford
you, Rachel.
did it, or
Thank you so much
you don't
for
think
clearing
Golden
that
Boy
up.
did it? Okay, maybe.
I'm sorry, Crawford. If you're saying that Crawford didn't do it, Crawford had to actually admit, he had to agree for his mandatory to be instated earlier than the allowed time slot. And if he didn't, then he would have just said, "Hey, my mandatory is not due till until May. Why are you pushing this now? I can go and fight anyone right now."
What would you tell him to do if he didn't have confidence that the Errol Spence fight wasn't going to happen? What would you do as his advisor?
At this point, if you're saying that that's not going to be the case, you have to remember that what was situated and what was already announced is that they were giving Spence X amount of days to be negotiated with Terence Crawford. From what we keep hearing from Crawford's side is that they're talking right now. So if you're talking, then put it in damn writing and say, hey, from now, right now, today, whatever the day is, and at whatever time, we have 60 days, let's go. And so that gets put on hold. That's the only reason why Spence was supposed to be negotiating anybody else at that time. With Paco, it's the same respect. The thing is that whenever they come in with an undisputed title and the mandatories, these are special circumstances, the gray area that the WBO can use. The rules and regulations for a special circumstance is so beautifully fucking gray. That you can use that and say, I'm going for the undisputed. I know I have an 18-month, but let me get another 6 to get this fight done. But that's not what happened. What happened is he met January 28th with Golden Boy, who has Alexis Rocha. They pushed the mandatory earlier than expected, and he wasn't even supposed to respond until April or May.
Wow. You just said a whole mouthful, Rachel.
So he can have money on there. You know what I mean?
I don't hate that. Again, I don't hate that at all. Get your bag, but be accountable for what move you made. You can't tell me you went to Golden Boy for any other thing besides Alexis Rocha. You didn't want to sign a two fight contract with PBC or a 3 fight contract or whatever. And what Golden Boy was actually presenting you was the exact same deal.
Exactly, but lesser competition, basically.
Rocha, yeah, that's a tune up. But the Virgil Ortiz fight, that's a good fight right there. I think
it's a very good fight.
It's a very good fight.
It is. But at the same time, you're talking about ifs, ands, or buts. We still don't know what's going to happen between him and Daniel.
I think he's going to go after Charlo. That's just my thought. And they're going to go to purse bed.
He is not League.
All right, bro.
What makes you think that's going to happen?
All right, bro. I got money on it, too. I got a minimum. Anybody on here want to bet? I got $1,000 Crawford dog walk Jamel Charlo, and I like
Oh
Jamel
my
Charlo.
Jesus!
And he got a second chance, and I put my money up.
Yo,
Money on it. He
Leak
gonna dog walk Charlo.
my
Easy
man
work.
Malik has been critical of the control
God.
that Al Heyman's has, and you've done business with Al Heyman. What is it like?
Al Heyman's been easy with me. Have we had our headbutts? Yeah, of course. That's what we're supposed to do. He's, you have to remember that Richard is my first line of defense, and Richard works with Al Heyman, right?
You talking
Richard
about
is
Richard
also
Schaefer, Rachel?
yes.
Okay.
So I'm the manager, Richard's the promoter, and he blocks us as far as anything, as far as with Al or with Mr. Honda when we were talking with the New Ace camp and stuff like that. So I tell him what I need. Now, are there things that me and Al have gone head to head about? You can be damn sure that Al
Happens with
was asked
everybody.
it. Yeah, and if there isn't a headbutt, then are you really doing your job as a manager? Like with me and Al, don't you think that he was upset that Nonito decided that he wasn't going to continue the fight with Casimiro? Of course he was. He asked us to give it 24 hours, and we still came back to the same conclusion. No VADA test, no fight. And
And Rachel, I ain't mean to cut you off. I apologize, but I agree with that stance. You don't fight nobody without no goddamn testing. Hell nah.
Hey, Rachel,
no, it's too sticky out here now. Like there's people that are so freaking big that I'm like, dude, that wasn't in your genetics. I'll pull your dad and your mom.
hey, Rachel, you made a good point. You stood up to Al Heyman. A lot of
God.
intimidated of
Oh
Al
my
Heyman.
God, bro.
And let Al Heyman control him. So shout out to Rachel Donaire. She stood up to Al Heyman.
Yo, this nigga don't give
This
a
nigga. Shout out to Rachel once again. That's what I keep telling y'all. Y'all
Yo.
keep everything I said.
Yo, this nigga League is funny as shit,
bro.
Hey yo, you gotta fuck with him, though, bro. You don't care.
Listen, I've stood up against the biggest players. I've stood up against Bob Arum. So I mean, it's not nothing to hear, the what is it? The labeling of me being a bitch in the business. I'm going to be a fucking bitch because the thing is, I'm going
which is your husband.
Exactly. And if you're not doing that and you're being a pushover, you're doing something wrong.
Hey, Rachel, did the conversation go like this? Listen, Rachel, I don't think Nonito Donaire is worth $2.5 million. I give you 1.7, but not 2.5.
Now, Rachel, look.
No, me and Bob never came to the table because we had when we had discussions and he went left, and instead of saying like, okay, let's come back to the table, he called me a tart. We did not come back to the table.
God,
it was more so me and Todd that had to come sit down, and because I would not entertain a conversation.
So Rachel, let me ask you
So
this.
look, Rachel, look. I had this guy that will fight Nonito from there. Okay. Now you could take this money, or you could not take this money. What do you?
Hey, as much as you acting, I know the guy that you ain't talking about is Jason Maloney because he went to the WBO and not the WBC route. So there's that.
Yeah, there was that, most definitely.
I'm not really that big of a fan of the Maloney brothers, so I'm gonna keep that to myself. I'm gonna keep my comment to myself right now.
Yo, Bob called you a tart? Who talks like that? You can tell.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he did.
You can tell Bob
he
like
did.
95,
He called me tart.
so like, what the hell?
That's some shit from like the 50s, yo.
That is something from the 50s. He's what is he about? 80,
That like some
years old?
what's that? What's some Dick Tracy shit? Like what the fuck?
Right.
Like yo.
So
and you say Dick Tracy, and we're all talking into our freaking smartwatches these now, and taking on phone calls and shit, looking like Dick Tracy.
So Rachel, what gave you the confidence to be able to negotiate with these guys? Did you like have a mentor? Did you go to college to learn the business? How did you actually learn the business? Because it sounds like you're very confident. So something gave you that confidence. These boxers, like I say, a lot of them don't read or something. What gave you that confidence?
When I met Nonito, he had a couple of endorsement contracts and his fight contracts that I noticed that he just wanted to sign it as soon as it came in to his email. And I was like, wait, hold on. And I would look at some of the endorsements, and they were very, very extremely minimal money for a lifetime contract. And so I would redline it and then, send it back. Cameron Duncan, who was his manager at the time, had noticed that contracts weren't coming back as soon as he would send it like it used to be. And I would ask for whatever Nonito needed. If he needed more training expenses, if he needed more flights, hotel rooms, whatever Nonito needed, he would tell me and I would redline it and send it back. So I understood that Nonito isn't in the business of the business. Nonito literally will fight for $20,000. And I appreciate him and I love him for his
I fight for free, man.
Okay, no, we're not fighting for free. See, this is literally what I had to do.
That's all I want to do. See the best motherfuckers out there.
See, this is literally, like what we would do, because he'd take any fight. He'd take the most dangerous fight. And I'm like, I know the money on the line. I know the Muhammad Ali act. I know the amount of viewership. I know the gate, and I know what you're making. And it isn't in comparison to what you're paying. So I would fight with that based on what I had in paper. And because of the fact that, Nonito is the good guy. He's the freaking warrior that'll go out on his shield and he'll do anything that is asked of him. I had to protect him from that. And if no one did, that's basically what I did. And then, of course, Cameron had burned some bridges in boxing, and, he had groomed me into understanding the whole game. So from 2008 until 2016, when Cameron completely walked out, Cameron, I think I want to say 2010, had given me half of the management authority. And then in 2016, he's like, hey, like, if you can do better for Nonito, like, go. And we did.
Shit, you're doing a great job in my opinion. Still going strong.
No, I can see your future becoming even brighter. That's what's up. So shout out to you, and shout out for you for
Rachel. I want to ask a question quick. Okay? Now, Rachel, I want to ask you one question real quick. And
yeah,
well, mostly you and Notito, because I wanted to, because I've heard some stuff, but since I got the source really right here now, I need to ask this. Was there some funny business? What happened?
Oh, she got off. She must
She back
have.
Sorry. I just reconnected to Wi-Fi. My bad.
Okay.
You said.
No, I wanted to ask because I've heard a lot of stuff like that was going on in Japan when your husband was over there fighting NUA. Like it was something about some glove situation. Like, you found what I'm saying? Like, I heard something about that. Like, was it some funny business going on with the gloves with NUA or whatever?
So, I got in trouble for that one, the second one. But the first one, when we first went there, was the WBSS Super Series, the final. And Nonito had brought over 2 Everlast gloves. And both gloves, both hands were damaged. And I still have the picture of those gloves. Like, I kept them. And so he couldn't use his Everlast. He had to take Inoue's reject pair, which is Inoue's second pair of winnings. Yeah. So if you watch the fight, like, Nonito's always been wearing Everlast. Watch the Inoue part 1.
I remember seeing them all the time.
Yeah. So he's wearing winnings. He's never freaking wore winnings in his life. The other thing that happened in Inoue 1 is some random dude came in and was screaming 5 minutes before Nonito was supposed to walk out about his leggings, and he was just freaking all up in Nonito's face, and eventually Nonito had enough of it. He goes, you know what, fuck you, I'm out. Like, go, like, I'm done. I'm not gonna unglove, take off my pants, take off my everything, untie my shoes that are already taped for you to take this off. And I told that guy, I was like, he's like, well, Japanese commission doesn't allow it. I go, Japanese commission's been fucking sitting there for 4 fucking hours. They saw him butt ass naked, put on his drawers, put on this leggings, put on his trunks, tape up his shit, and now it's gonna be a thing? Now?
I think I had Nonito winning like up to round 9. But Monster was fighting off the back foot. I was like, this Monster dude is nice. He showed me something, but I had Nonito winning up until like the 9th round. So that was a good ass fight right there.
He broke Inui's
so that
eye socket too.
happened.
He broke his eye socket too. I remember that one.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
imagine if he didn't have pillows. Because
Yeah.
winnings are pillows.
Right.
Nonito uses pillows when he uses winnings during sparring. He doesn't use it during the fights. He's always used Reyes from 08 to maybe 2010. Then he switched to Everlast Elites, which were comparable to the Reyes gloves. So the second fight, I was at the glove selection. And I wasn't at Inoue's one glove selection. We were live streaming. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think I was going to capture anything. But I remember they came into, the glove thing at first, and they said, they put the gloves on the table, and I looked at Nonito and I was like, that shit ain't sealed. And he's like, don't. This is Nonito again, right? Don't. And I was like, but their gloves aren't sealed. He's like, don't. And I was like, all right. So, I bow to whatever Nonito says. When Inoue said he couldn't use, I think it was the left-hand glove. Like, they rejected one of Nonito's gloves. He was like, nope, this doesn't have enough padding. I was like, that shit was sealed. And he's like, nope, we don't approve of this glove. I looked at Nonito. I was like, you going to let me go? And he's like, go. And as soon as I went, I was like, you didn't even fucking come in here with freaking sealed gloves, bro. Like, how do I know you didn't take out padding? How do I know you didn't break it in? How do you, well, we can't get gloves in time. I was like, that's your fucking fault. But they came in to the glove selection with unsealed gloves where you're supposed to bring gloves and open up in front of commission.
Wow. So basically, what I heard was basically confirmed by you. Thank you, Rachel. That's just some funny stuff. It sounds like some funny business going on over there in Japan.
Scooter gonna have his Scooter gotta be.
That's exactly. That's why I'm asking. That's why I asked her, Leak, because we know we got because Scooter's our guy from Philly. You feel what I'm saying? So we trying to see a fair fight. We ain't trying to see no bullshit. Like, the check's going to be good and all that stuff, but I want to see a fair fight with him and Inoue. You feel me?
Yep.
No, and that's what we had told them. When we had talked to them, we're like, listen, all we're gonna tell you is, like, make sure you have a backup of a backup of a backup. Don't trust anyone. Like, just,
you know what's funny, Rachel? Somebody told me that same shit too. They said the same exact words you said.
There was another girl that I talked to that when she went to Japan, they stacked her schedule. Like, interview after interview, didn't allow her to rest. And we told their camp that. We're like, listen, you have to have a bad person. I was always the bad person. So if Stefan Scooter says, hey, I'm done with these 3 interviews, I'm done for the rest of the day, then freaking make it, like, stand up and say, that's it. He's done. We're not going to go across town to do a TV interview and another TV interview across freaking Japan. We're not going to do it. Like, he's done. And you can call me a bitch or an asshole, whatever. But my fighter's here to fight.
Does Scooter have a manager too, or is just Al Heyman? Because Al Heyman ain't going to Japan. Al Heyman ain't trying.
Oh my God, man.
See? Come on, man.
Leak, man. Oh my God.
Who hurt you, Leak? Who hurt you?
I just had to throw that. He gonna send Sam over there. What's Sam gonna be doing? Who's gonna send over there?
I don't know who they're gonna send. All I know is that, like, someone that's in Fulton's camp that Nonito knows really well is Wahid. They were in the amateurs together. So hopefully that kind of brotherhood from the amateurs and telling him these things, that he keeps his eyes open and on his toes the entire time that he's there. We couldn't have warned them enough. Just you came there to fight, and if it's an inconvenience for you, then don't bow to anything that they're wanting you to do. Do what's best for your fighter. That's it.
Basically, don't waste your time with no bullshit. Right.
Yeah.
This a bit, yeah. If he win that one, then I like to see Scooter versus the boy from Cuba.
I
That's
would,
gonna be.
I
What's
would
the
love for my man Greg to go over there with him.
Facts, because I know G ain't gonna let nothing happen.
Yeah, he won't.
you gotta bring
But
somebody.
his trainers Waid and Hamza, they definitely great trainers. Waid is a real good business mind, but like Greg definitely is an asshole that you need on your team. Like Greg don't care
It's
if it's in Japan. Like no, you don't care about none of that shit.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you just I think I learned really early on when I was co-managing with Cameron Duncan, I was the bitch. Okay, I'm gonna be the bitch. I don't really give a fuck. You have to have someone on the team that realizes that it's not about stepping on toes, it's literally standing your ground. When you understand that that is your freaking job, is to
Facts.
protect the fighter. That's what you need.
They gonna be sending females at him. Watch. They gonna send all types of things for Scooter. Gonna have Japanese Jones trying to give him the
funny as shit.
Scooter, don't fall for it, bro. You better bring your girl with you if you got a girl. You better bring her with you, bro. Because trust me, they gonna do all types of stuff.
Nah, but I just knew that was some funny ass business shit going on over there. That's why I'm glad that I actually got confirmation from from the real people that was there.
Oh, you didn't hear about this one though. The last one. Okay, so I know YSM covered this a little bit. There's some tension between senior and junior, and senior was supposed to come. When senior didn't end up coming to do the mitts, we had hired a Japanese trainer that has trained Nonito back in 2016. But when it came to the locker room, after they've trained for 2 to 3 weeks before the fight, they were blocked from being in the locker room to warm Nonito up.
What?
And
oh yeah, matter of fact, right. I did hear about something like that because when I was watching the fight, he didn't look like
warm.
He looked like loose. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why. Oh my god, yo! Like I'm trying to keep my mouth shut because I ain't trying to say too much.
No, but T, when I ask certain questions in my interviews to people from Japan, they get mad because I'm just going by what I hear. So I'm asking certain questions that are relevant to this fight. When you're going to somebody else's country, we all know how it is. But they get upset like, oh, you're trying to put stuff in just in case folk loses. No, the reality is, man, if you going
There's
over
a lot
to
of
the
shit
UK,
going on
you
over
already
there.
know it might be some funny stuff with the judging. Judging by what's been going on over there, some people may be on the finest packs. You know what I'm saying? And then they go pass it off as
are you going to the fight?
Eggs, or I drunk tea, or wild boar meat.
Yeah.
Mill, are you going to the fight?
Or fighting with crazy looking gloves or whatever?
Them prices wasn't right. Them prices. I had no idea.
What was the thing with
Rich, I might need a loan. Airfare tickets. Woo.
Yeah, that joint. I think I heard that joint's kind of expensive over there, bro.
Kind of shit.
On a low end, up and back was a 12-piece nugget.
Hell no, I'm good.
I fucks with Scooter, but shit.
Yeah, you charging what? Rent money plus like
see, we were in a different the Triple G versus Morata had been put together, and it was only a business visa.
Another fighter that's questionable, but go ahead.
But when Senior said he couldn't go, there was no way of me pulling one of our other guys because we had to apply for a business visa, and that took time. Like the Japanese promotion had to write a letter, get it approved, send it over to the embassy. Like it was a process. So we were under like weird COVID restrictions as far as just bringing in one of the other guys that trained under us that knew how Nonito likes his mitts. So that's why we had to default to one of the Japanese guys to train us. But when they blocked him from the dressing room, literally, I remember Nonito just be like, "Where's my mitt guy?" And I'm like, "Fuck!" And I call, and he's like, "I can't come in." And I ask, and they're like, "He can't hold for Nonito. This is a Japanese country. He can't go against his Japanese men." I'm like, why the hell didn't anyone tell me this before freaking the day of the fight? When Nonito's like literally waiting to get warmed up.
Wow. But like I said though, like I heard that it was some funny shit going on and that he wasn't warmed up. And then when I watched the fight, he looked like he was loose. Like he really looked like he looked like he was a little bit stiff.
Yeah.
Like, you feel what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, it was kind of weird because normally in rematches, a lot of the same patterns that happened in the first fight normally repeat themselves. You feel what I'm saying, Miss Rachel? And
yeah,
he looked flat. He didn't look right. So
he wasn't even sweating.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He looked real dry.
Yeah, he did.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I knew something funny was going on in that. I mean, with that whole thing.
Yeah.
When is the Fulton fight? May the what?
May 29, I think.
May 29th. Okay, so it's gonna be the next day because it's gonna be on Sunday. So it's probably gonna come on in the daytime then.
Oh, it's gonna be in the middle of the night again, for sure.
Oh, they gonna have it in the middle of the night?
Because
because remember their time is different over there than us.
So they,
but yeah, like 4 a.m. or 6 a.m. or something.
They are going to do prime time, okay? Because I remember I woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the first Inoue fight. I was watching it like 6 o'clock in the morning here.
Yeah, it was literally like 5 in the morning. I got like 2 hours worth of sleep.
Yeah, I was like, yo, so.
Yeah, but you have to remember that, like you have to remember that, like, so the way that Inoue's contract holds is that Top Rank holds him outside of the U.S. That's possibly why he hasn't come back into the U.S. because he requires a minimum for his service contract with Top Rank. The last fight we saw him here is Das Marinas. The ringside tickets for that at the old Hard Rock Cafe, which is the new Virgin, which only holds about 5,000 to 6,000, was $150 for ringside tickets, which isn't going to pay for the minimum. Yeah, which isn't going to pay for the minimum that Inoue requires to be on U.S. soil. But as far as the TV rights, it will be most likely still pushed through Top Rank, who has the ESPN deal. So it will be on ESPN, but it will still stay as far as Japan time, because what is pushing Inoue's career is Amazon Prime, which is a test market for how much, does Amazon Prime work for fights. That's their test market is freaking Inoue. So it's going to be at, a nighttime fight, just,
So they 10 hours ahead. Oh, snap. Oh, they 14 hours ahead.
Rachel, man, strength and conditioning coach Rob Acosta has a question for you. Are they testing with WADA or VADA in Japan?
That's a great question. I know with ours, it was agreed upon that it would be VADA. I don't know if this was something. I would have to have Nonito text Scooter to ask him if there's going to be VADA testing throughout, because the WBSS required all boxers, even the alternates, to be in the VADA program. So that was already covered for Inoue 1. Inoue 2, we did have VADA testing as soon as the fights were signed. And I know that even though the fight fell through with Casemiro, their fight was also supposed to be VADA. So I would assume that with Fulton, it's going to be the same, but I'm not quite sure.
Hey, Rachel, what would you say is in a ways like his strongest part of his game? Is it his power, his speed, his reflexes? What would you say?
I would say his power. I think that if he plants in the correct and you're standing there right in front of him, he's able to plant and land his power shots. That's what will make this extremely interesting with Fulton because if Fulton stays on his game plan for 12 rounds and doesn't go into a firefight, he can effectively box him. For someone like Paul Butler, who only wanted to survive, but he moved, and it was hard for Inoue to fight someone who wasn't really fighting back.
Rachel,
I think it would.
Rachel, can I say something? I ain't mean to cut you off. You
Go
can
ahead.
continue, please. Paul Butler's ass. Continue.
No, I know, but
He is.
I get it. I hear you because he won. I know how he won the championship. I get what you're saying. But the thing is that if we are going to push Paul Butler into the depths of absolutely not even giving you any credit for the fact that we all believe that he still took 11 rounds to get him out, and Paul Butler wasn't actually trying to defend or
he was there to collect the check.
So with Fulton trying to win and actually throwing punches and moving, how much more of a different style of fight is this going to be? You have to remember, a lot of the Japanese fighters, the most of the crop that they fight is mostly from the Philippines.
Right.
And a lot of Filipinos love to, it's called bara-bara. It's a street fight. You stand there and you freaking throw. And that's what you do. You don't have a lot of lateral movement. You don't go in and out. You don't try to go behind a jab. And so with that being said, someone who is defensively minded, moving around the ring, using the jab to keep him out and setting up the shots is going to be highly interesting compared to someone who went 11 rounds just to survive.
I don't
AKA
that America style.
Stephen Fulton.
I don't think nobody has went to Monster's body neither. You go to his body.
Nope, they haven't.
Go to his body.
Not too many people.
Donaire did.
Don't exactly. He
did consistently. Like really get to his body and like if he fight him like Andre Ward style, he can probably stop.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all though, like because I'm Gary get off because I got a lot of shit to talk to Boston Celtics fans, but
oh man.
No, but I just wanted to make this point, y'all. I'm gonna be real with y'all. This is my personal opinion. I think Cool Boy's gonna wash him. That's just me. I honestly feel that way. I might be wrong. I'll come on here. I'll come on here. If I'm wrong, I'll come on here and I'll say my piece. But I think Scooter is gonna wash him. He's a better fighter than Inoue to me.
If he wash him,
it could be more of a style matchup more than
If he wash him in Japan,
it could be just be a bad matchup for.
Yeah, it's gonna be gonna wash him, and then it's gonna be like a 7-5.
Yeah, he do that in Japan, bro. He gonna be in my top 3 to 5 pound for pound if he do that.
He's going to beat him.
That'll be spectacular.
Because even if he doesn't beat him on the scorecards, he's going to beat him with the eye test. I promise y'all that.
Yeah, but the thing about Inoue is you can outbox him for 8 to 9 rounds, but he can just catch you that one time and it's over.
That's true. I agree with that.
He is moving up 4 pounds, and Fulton is kind of big, you know.
Exactly. Fulton's the bigger. He's the bigger fighter. He's a more athletic fighter. He's a stronger fighter.
Exactly, and he got good defense. So
exactly, he's not going to be easy to hit like a lot of these dudes is that fight.
Well, let's not disrespect Inoue now. He's not some one-dimensional type fighter.
No, Inoue's the truth. Don't get twisted. But I just think that this is a higher class of fighter that he's never dealt with before in a bigger weight class.
Yeah.
That's why whoever wins it's got to be 2.5 pound.
I ain't just saying this. I ain't just saying this because she's on here, but we're gonna keep it a big, right? He faced an older version of Nonito Donaire.
The younger version would have destroyed him.
We saw how the first fight was.
Right.
Nonito that faced Vic Darcinian and Montiel. Well, come on.
Yeah.
Usually, I think Inoue's a bad motherfucker. I think Inoue's a bad motherfucker.
Number 3
pound number 1. I'm like,
well, I just don't think when people say he's the best fighter in the world, that's cap to me.
4 or 5, but I got him over Usyk or Crawford or Spence or Charlo. I don't have him
Bro,
over
if he beat Scooter, bro, you gonna have to like make.
Oh no, if he beats Scooter, yeah, I gotta move him up. Like no
Yeah,
problem.
If he beats
But
Scooter, he's pound for pound
I
number
just
one.
don't.
If he beats
Wait,
Scooter
wait.
decisively.
Didn't ESPN have him as number one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he beat Scooter.
Okay.
Come on, man.
What freaking thing is he fighting on?
He's fighting on ESPN.
Yeah.
Who do you think they're gonna put higher than him when they're actually promoting his fights?
That's true. That's true.
Facts.
He got an underground fan base too. He got like one of those following like that.
Yeah. Certain YouTube weirdos.
Yeah, he got like the
what it is.
skateboard,
Yeah, it's well earned. He's an exciting fighter.
He's a good fighter.
Yeah, he is.
I just don't think he's faced a high level competition like he's going to face this time.
I don't take ESPN's pound for pound list seriously.
Hell no.
Many of them didn't even have Jermell Charlo in the top.
Exactly. They don't have Jermell Charlo, or they didn't even have Devin Haney up there, and they're undisputed champions.
Monster nice, but he not better than Artur Beterbiev. That's just facts.
No, hell no.
Hell no. Artur Beterbiev is bad.
He's not better. No, it's even questionable if he's better than Devin Haney.
We'll see. Devin Haney got some. Yeah, we'll see.
I don't like comparing different weight classes, but fair enough.
But
you got to see how they dominate their respective weight class, and you can't deny Inoue has been more dominant in his weight class than a lot of guys.
It matters though.
But how many? So you have to look at it though. Like, so what we do is you have to, because when a pound for pound list is it's not based on whatever weight class, it's based on the overall weight classes. So you compare who they've beat.
Right.
And if your biggest name is Nonito at freaking 39.
Exactly. I was just about to say that, Rach.
Right.
He was 39, 38 years old when he fought him. I promise you, and this is on, I promise you on my children, if he was the 31-year-old version, he would have smoked NUA. I'm keeping it real.
But that's the biggest name. So what you have to do is go down all the other pound for pounds, and you have to see who they beat in Scooter, and where they were in their career.
Scooter has a better resume than NUA.
His two best wins were Nonito at 39 and Emmanuel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Which they're still good wins, but it's not nothing to put you pound for pound number one. It's just not reality.
In facts. And Scooter has beaten more undefeated fighters in their primes. He's beating guys in their primes.
Yeah, usually when you put a in prime young fighter like Inoue versus a past their prime champ like Donaire, usually that champ gets destroyed, the older champ.
Exactly.
So, but that wasn't the case.
Nope.
So
wasn't the case at all.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that like, so when you're saying pound for pound, like it's like, okay, well, so are you like, if that's your biggest name, or possibly Emmanuel Rodriguez, so you possibly have two, one that's supposedly over the age, and you look at the other fighters that are fighting right now, and when they fought them, how does he surpass that? How do you make an argument for that? At that point,
that's why I don't have him. That's why I have him literally at number 5 on my list. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I don't have him over Usyk and Crawford and Spence and Charlo. I don't have him over them. I don't, because they have beaten way bigger. Well, especially Spence and Usyk and Charlo. Their resumes are significantly better than his, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, Scooter's resume is way better.
Scooter, he got
yes. Brandon Figueroa. Come on, what?
Yo,
man,
I'm about to grind somebody to fuck up real fast.
Nice,
nigga, where have you been?
Oh, this dude, like half the time I feel like he dies and then he comes back to life somehow. I don't know.
He don't answer no text message. Just like, Billy, you real light skinned. You a real light skinned boy, man.
But yo, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna hit y'all up. Yo, Mill, I'm gonna text you up, bro.
Bye.
All right, thank you, Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Hey,
yeah, we'll see about that. I look forward to that fight. That's the fight I look forward to the most out of all
hey,
these fights. Like
hey,
I
hey, YSL. I got a quick question for you, or maybe it's not really a question, but more of like a statement for Boots. I see that they're not really interested in being on Tank's undercard. I think that's a big mistake, and let me tell you guys why. So you see how Canelo built his fan base. He repeatedly fought on Floyd Mayweather's undercard, and then eventually, he took out some older champions. That's how he became a pay-per-view star. I don't think Boots should be headlining quite yet. Like, you don't want to end up being like I think he should just a couple more fights like under a Spence Crawford undercard or a Tank undercard, like get a big time performance and then headline your own card. But because let's be real, that last fight was not a good, and it's not his fault, but it wasn't a good like promotion, I guess you could say.
I mean, I would have loved for him to be on that undercard because it's a really big fight. But
Right.
he feels like
Exposure.
him and Mr. Bozy feels as though like they're ready to see if they can draw. And if you can't prove that you can draw, you'll have guys like Virgil Ortiz, Conor Ben avoiding you.
Right. That's why it's I know they don't like being on people undercards because everybody has egos.
Mm.
how you know
But
he
I
said
think like that it's one of those things where it's like damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because the thing is with if you're trying to build or you're trying to if you're trying to prove your numbers, you can't prove your numbers unless you're a headliner. Now, whether or not this is too early is a discussion for their camp because I don't know their numbers. But I do agree that if you're still building the numbers, then go underneath someone who has those numbers so that fan base, assumingly, will be exposed to you and more likely to support you going forward.
right,
All right,
Tank Garcia, that's huge exposure.
real,
You got to take advantage of that.
real
You got
fast.
to.
We just had somebody hop on. Strength and conditioning coach Rob Acosta.
Rob, it's good.
What up, Rob?
What's
I
up,
was, I
Rob,
y'all?
was hey
Rob
Rach,
the
I was trying
Alchemist.
to introduce you to Rob
Rob the
when we
Alchemist.
were in Philly, but Rob was on some sleepy shit that night we went out.
I was
So when we
sleeping,
went to the
man.
hood, the night
Yeah,
we went
that's
to
where
the hood.
Rob. Yeah, Rob's down. Rob's from down there.
I was sleeping, man. How you doing, Rachel? What's up, everybody?
Hi. Well,
Good.
Mill brought me to the hood.
Yeah, Mel. Yeah, Mill called me, but I was sleeping.
No worries, no worries. We had fun, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys did. I mean, next time you guys come down, I'll join you guys on the second time.
Hey, Leak, I had her down in the Badlands, bro.
Hmm.
Oh,
See? Freaking Mill was laughing at me when I asked for my first drink. And then my second drink still couldn't have been ordered either. He's like, oh. He was like,
Funny.
I was like, can I get a glass of champagne? They're like, baby, we're in the hood. I was like, oh,
Yeah, they don't do
okay.
that out here.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
good.
I go, yeah, tequila club soda lime. They're like, we don't have club soda. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. What do you have? Just tell me what you have and I'll
Straight
freaking
shots, bro. That's what
figure
we
it
had.
out.
So
That's
Rob,
right.
I
what's
was like,
You go out the
what's
bar and
going
mix
on
it
with your
yourself or something.
what you got popping off with your strength and conditioning, man?
Say it
The
again.
Rob the Alchemist, what you got going on with your strength and conditioning?
Nothing right now. I took a kind of a minor break from everything and focusing on some other things going on with the family and everything. And right now I'm just working with my amateur Nelson De La Cruz, who we're fighting in the gloves. So I'm getting him ready for it. And we're heading out to Vegas in May for a title tournament. And then that's about it. Until then, until the family issues get resolved, I'm just going to work on him unless if I get an offer that's well enough to take.
God.
Yeah, our prayers out to you, Rob.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
no, I'm gonna put my boy in for like 5 minutes. I'll jump back on. Because I want to talk about strength and conditioning with him. if you don't mind.
Yeah, I wanted y'all to get together and collaborate.
Okay, give me 5 minutes. Let me put these little rugrats to bed real quick. I'll be back.
Yeah, Billy, I took it to the lands, Billy. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Billy, there's a tornado going on in Texas, man. That's probably why you didn't hop on. There's probably no Wi-Fi out there, bitch.
What's the message, Ray? But yeah, man, I had her and Nito down in the lands. I had JR down in the lands. Yo, I'm gonna tell you a story. So I thought JR was a square, right? Right, JR government job, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes talks proper. So I thought JR was a square. I took him down to the lands, bro. JR was down there without me. Every day he was in Philly, yo. I hit him up like, yo, where you at? Oh, I'm at your pop spot. I'm cracking the fuck up, yo.
Yeah, man. It was like, I don't
But
care,
you know what
man.
though? But in reality though, JR from an outside image doesn't really look like he's what he is in the inside.
Exactly. Yo.
You know what I'm saying? Like JR is just you look at him like, all right, that's a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? Not understanding what his background is like.
Yo, now in Philly, we're in Kensington, okay? So this is when during COVID. So they didn't allow people inside. So my pop had the outside setup. This is 2nd Street in the middle of Allegheny and Lehigh, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, your pop got a spot up there? Okay.
Yeah. We got 2 spots on that strip.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so like literally, like JR was post every day. He was posting out there.
So does anybody here got Stanionis beating Ortiz? Because I'm hoping somebody bet money on Stanionis, trying to win some money.
I think it's a 50-50. I think it's a 50-50.
Yeah, it's a true 50-50, man.
More like 55-45.
Nah.
Virgil.
Nah, I think it's a 50-50 because they both bring certain tools to the table that overpowers the other.
Yeah.
So it's like if you go down the line, they're both straightforward fighters. One develops a nice jab, but the other one got good power shots. One got a higher knockout ratio than the other. One got a good chin. One is still to be tested. One is a brawler. The other one is more of a boxer brawler, so to speak. So it's definitely a 50-50 fight.
Yo,
I would say this. If Virgil tries to, because he likes to get into 50-50 exchanges, it'll be exactly what you're saying. But he can make it easier on himself, because I feel like he's a better mid to long range fighter than Stanionis.
Right, but at the end of the day, Stanionis got the gas. So he got the gas tank. So if you saw him fight recently, went on the
the Butai fight.
On that fight, like he showed gas. Like he's very, very like he has this thing about him where he can keep a maintain level of athleticism while he's boxing. So his energy, he doesn't waste a lot. He's really, really on that, like that straight line, so to speak. And he could keep the momentum going, where a guy like Virgil Ortiz, we've seen him in some rough exchanges where we like, woof, we're that could have went a lot of different ways if we got a different this guy, or we played the what if game. But now when you're dealing with a guy like Stanionis who can keep that jab in his face, that's where the key of the whole fight is going to go for Stanionis. That's the key to victory, is using that jab, but keeping it in his face. Once Virgil Ortiz gets desperate, he's going to throw stupid stuff, and Stanionis could either meet him there, or he's going to have to make those adjustments. So I think it's all determines on who makes the better adjustments and who has the best game plan for that fight during camp.
Virgil, because they fighting in Texas. We all know he ain't getting no decision in Texas on a Golden Boy card, and he don't got the knockout power of like a Crawford or Boots, so he gonna get washed. Plus, it's either his tonsils.
Well, Virgil don't got knockout power.
No, Stanionis.
Oh, okay.
Texas, didn't he just get his appendix removed or his tonsils removed?
Who?
Yeah, something like that. That got a surgery.
Those organs affect you. He gonna be sluggy. He gonna get hurt.
Man, I wish it wasn't the week after Tank Ryan, because them tickets ain't nothing.
Yo,
they asking $250 for the 4-level seats in what is that? Texas Arlington Arena.
Yeah.
Jordan boy need to
Yo,
step.
I appreciate all the boxing networks and promoters for giving us a great schedule. But I'm like, damn, yo, y'all could have spaced this out. The way my bank account is set up,
Right.
you can't go back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
I
that
think that's
Silver's
gonna
a
be.
startup? Like, you know
Is
what
that a
I'm
pay per view?
saying?
That's not a pay per view. Is that's pay per view fight?
Nah,
No,
it's
I don't
on
think that's a
the
pay-per-view fight, but that
it's
is
Okay.
well enough to be on the undercard of a pay-per-view fight for sure.
Yeah, like a Spence Crawford, but
That would have been a great
that's the
co-main.
only one I can imagine. Go ahead.
Yeah, like
No, that's a good one. When is that fight? April the what? 29th?
29th.
29th.
Oh wow! So it's a week after. So the fight, it's Errol Spence and Crawford ain't the only undisputed fight that's not happening. It looks like Usyk and Fury having problems, and Better Biv and Bivol like
Better be even
Yo.
Bivol. That joint ain't never gonna happen.
Well, they're not even the discussion because this dude Eddie Hearn talking about
You don't
I want Better Beef to fight Callum Smith.
Callum Smith ain't even making this fight next week.
Yeah, it's corny. He don't want the fight, and then the Usyk one is probably about money. I mean, 50-50, that seemed fair to me, but that's on them.
Man,
You know what?
I said, but you
You know
notice
what?
how Crawford and Spence only gets the negative attention, but
Right.
Usyk and Fury, how long have we been talking about this fight potentially
Usyk
happening?
and Fury, that's a bigger fight.
You know, honestly,
Because nobody really
I
care about
really,
Usyk and Fury, bro. That's why.
That's a big fight, bro.
It's
I
a
really
big fight, but
believe-
like it's not the same passion.
Crawford, bro, that's big, bro.
You got the link again, Mill.
I don't know. I really believe that Ortiz and Stanionis will be something like Ponce and Matias fight that just recently happened.
And you got Stanionis winning?
No, I'm saying I can see that fight going that type of action-packed direction.
I want to see.
Well,
I want to see
I
Matias.
don't see nobody quitting.
Yeah, I don't see nobody quitting in that fight. Like that fight is either going to go to distance and a bloody mess, or it's going to be somewhere where it's like, you know, it's just going to be one of those action-packed fights. You know what I mean?
But Virgil got people sleep on Virgil's skills. Like he if he wants to, he can outbox a little bit. Standing on this.
He not a cut.
I don't know.
I talked about I had that conversation about the whole Pollo thing with Joel.
Oh, Broadway Joel.
Mm-hmm.
The face, the voice of Dominican boxing.
Yeah.
And
It really does. It really does depend between the two guys, because a lot of factors take in for this type of caliber of a fight. Where where you got Stanionis, who's if you look at his physique, he's a big guy. He's strong. And then you got the DNA of the Mexican, background, where they're not really so much lean, but they're physically strong. And that's where most of them, when you box a Mexican, you can't really knock Mexicans out using all headshots. You normally go to the body. So for Stanionis, I believe that it'll be best or more ideal to throw a lot of straight shots down to the chest, down to the sternum, and start abusing his body a little bit to try to slow him down. And then go for Stanionis, then he can try to start boxing to show more of a universal style. And for, as far as Virgil, it'll be a lot harder, because if Virgil gets frustrated, he's going to try to go for, major risky shots. And I don't think that that'll be a good idea for
You notice Virgil puts everything in every single shot.
He does.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So the only guy that did a lot of things like that, we didn't really test their conditioning type until later down the line. Like Jean Pascal, he was one of those guys that couldn't separate speed and power at the same time. He either had to throw hard or he had to throw speed, and either way, he couldn't really put it together, which it would really solidify a boxer to know both aspects of it. Because if you know that a guy is just a hard puncher, then that's pretty easy to condition the guy for 8 weeks for it. You know what I'm saying? But when you're dealing with a guy that's speed, that's actually a lot more challenging, because you have to deal with hand and eye coordination. You got to deal with timing. You have to deal with foot position, where to place the foot when you throw your shots, your equilibrium. A lot of stuff has to be on point for a guy that's fast, because you have to timing beat speed. So, but when you got a guy like Power, you can do small things like smother shots and and keep him in his chest and get him to reach and, things like that, where you can beat him in that sort of time. You understand what I'm saying?
Rob, quick question. When you were preparing Jermaine Ortiz, like when you were game planning Jermaine Ortiz versus Lomachenko,
Yeah.
which is some of the things that you were looking for?
So when I got up to Massachusetts and I started, as soon as I got there, I went to Jermaine and I said, all right, man, time to go to the gym. So he's like, we're training now? I'm like, yeah, I ain't drive all this fucking way because not trained today. Like, we're going to get this down today. So we get in there and we start doing the pads. But the first thing I like to do is watch a person shadow box. So if they're switch hitters, I want to see things that they're doing shadow boxing with the left side and also things that they're doing on the right side. So most people who can shadow box using both southpaw and right-handed, they have the system and kind of like the IQ to switch both southpaw and right hand. The problem is that you can't use the same defense right hand and also southpaw. So if you slip roll as an orthodox fighter and you do that same movement southpaw, you walk into the right hand every time. So you got to watch a certain aspects of it. So knowing that Lomachenko is an angle fighter, the best way to fight Loma is by keeping him turning and meeting him every time on the turn. So when we started working, I said, listen, this is what you're going to have to do. There's a lot of times during the fight where you're going to have to throw a combination orthodox and then finish his southpaw just to keep him confused where the angle is going to end up. So you're going to touch him, and then keep him turning. When he turns, you turn. Always meet him there. But don't meet him there and don't throw anything. You got to meet him there and throw something. So that way you can always have the upper end of the fight. That's how you control it. But then, of course, he was picking it up pretty well. And
he won the fight.
Yeah, but you know what though? We couldn't really negotiate. We couldn't really negotiate a solid full camp details as far as expenses is concerned. So, I just came back to Philly and then just went about my business from there. But a lot of the things that he did during camp, I seen him using it. So that it was a good thing. I just don't know what he did as far as weight cut is concerned, which is predominantly 80% of the fighters' problems nowadays. It's two things that they do wrong. It's either they cut the weight wrong or they rehydrate wrong. And anything in between is something where it's small little effects that can take abuse on a fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought he won the fight, but I knew he wouldn't get the decision because he ain't had the power, and I knew he their hope, he their savior, he's top ranked savior. Lomachenko is so, but he definitely...
No, but I kind of disagree with you though, because he had the power to have Loma off of him for a little bit. It's just all right. So I don't know if you have any experience so much on boxing, so to speak, but let's just say for an example, you're in there. Let's just play the scenario that you're sparring for 12 rounds, right? And a one person, as soon as the round starts, he comes out hot. The punches are hard, the punches are fast. But then by the time you get to like 5, 6, then you're not 8th and 9th round. The power is not the same. The speed is not the same. Now you can use your experience and your IQ to now make those small adjustments and overtake the fight. And then go from there. That's what happened with Jermaine. Jermaine was doing well, but then when he started to fatigue and gas out, that's when everything changed, because now the power is not the same. The speed is not the same. The footwork, the hand and eye coordination is the same. You know what I mean? It's almost like if you fall asleep and then you get randomly woken up and I say, all right, I need you to, run outside real quick and go to your car and come back. You're going to actually run, but you're going to forget why you're going to the car, or you're going to slip and you're going to do some other things. You're not going to be there because you're so exhausted still.
How did you score the fight, Rob? How did you score the fight?
I actually had it pretty close, but I gave it to Loma. I had it 7 rounds to 5 for Loma, but it was close enough that it's impressive, because if Loma would have had lost, it would have been bad for Loma. But being as though that Jermaine lost but came off of a good win, he's still got a long career ahead of him. He wins a couple more good fights, he's back in the game. You know what I mean?
I wanted to see him against Shakur. That Shakur fighter, dude. I never heard of that dude. He fight next.
Man, you stay away from that boy. Come on now. Don't do that to his career.
This question's for Rob and Rachel. Why are all strength and conditioning coaches assholes?
Oh, calm down. Calm down.
Who's asking the question? Is it you?
Yeah, I'm asking both of y'all because
No, I'll let Rachel take the lead on that one.
Why are we assholes? Because boxers are pissed off for the fact that they got fat during camp, and we're holding them accountable to the situation that they're in.
So I'll piggyback off that. So then when you're dealing with fighters are just sensitive people just in general. So you got guys that fight at, let's just say 135, and they let their bodies go all the way up to like 150. You know what I mean? And it's not like they're going up to 150, but they're just going up to 150 and they're not doing anything. They're not running 2 days a week. They're not running 3 days a week. They're not doing none of that shit. So then you hire a strength coach, and then you're like, all right, it's time to go to work. You're getting cursed out all the time because it's not my fault. I'm just doing my job to get your fucking weight down, because if you lose or you get tired or you get injured or anything happens muscular with tissues and things like that, then I'm the motherfucker to blame. So I have to be a dick, especially if I'm soft and I'm saying, okay, you don't want to do the last rep? Oh, yeah, don't worry about it, man. Just come tomorrow and, we'll do another day. That's not doing you any justice. Do the last fucking rep, stop bitching, and let's go ahead and finish this. This guy's training harder than you. You got to throw a little shit out there like that. You know what I mean? You got to be a dick.
Yeah, and strength and conditioning coaches only get like a limited time. Like, honestly, a boxing coach is supposed to have at least 80 to 90% of the work rate hours that strength and conditioning coaches have their clients for. And so, that being said, when we get them, like, we expect them to show up on time. Motherfucker, do you know how many fucking boxers don't show up on time?
Yeah.
And in shape. Like, you're asking us to not just increase your stamina from the last fight. You're asking us to do a fat camp plus make you better than you were at the last fight.
But both of y'all are dual purpose, right? So y'all strength and conditioning, but also coaching. Y'all don't have to get personal with y'all business, but shouldn't y'all be able to demand a higher cut from the fighters? Because y'all dual purpose.
I mean, in reality though, bro,
We're married, so it doesn't freaking matter.
Yeah. She get half no matter what.
Like, so if you do a purpose, like, you should be able to, like,
but you know what though, bro? It's I hate to say it, but YSM and I normally have these types of conversations where they always saying, he always makes it a point for him to always mention, like, yo, listen, in college, in other sports, strength and conditioning is essential. Boxing is the only type of sport, as actually the only sport, that they frown upon strength and conditioning. And the reason why that is because most boxing coaches are old school. They don't go out and gain the resources and the knowledge to understand the human anatomy, the physiology of part of the different things of how the muscle fibers grow. What do you do for muscle imbalance and things like that? So when they don't do that, they just think, okay, don't worry about it. You're just going to fight anyway. They're basically dog trainers. So when you go in there and you're just continuing to train them, the dog is going to fight no matter what. You know what I mean? You don't really care about the conditioning aspect. So a fighter, if they win, they're not going to think, oh man, I was in great shape. Thank God, you were around, because if not, no, they're going to be like, oh man, thank goodness for those, sparring or whatever work that they did to strategize for the fight. So strength and coaches in boxing would never get the credit that it actually deserves. That's why it's always a behind the scene thing.
Yeah, like most of the time, they're really shitting on the strength and conditioning coaches, and I'll tell you, with someone as old school as Kenny Adams, he would try to coax Nonito into going to his Saturday runs, and Kenny, and this was in the beginning of WBSS, was like, you need to run on Saturdays, and Nonito was like, yeah, nah, not gonna do it. And Kenny was like, no, you need to. And he goes, if I come into training winded, then we'll talk. And he goes, but let me do what I do with her. And it took a bit, but when Kenny realized that Nonito's killing these younger kids, he backed off on that. But that's not a lot of the older coaches. A
Right.
lot of the older coaches are working on slow twitch muscles off of let's go run 10 miles on
Yeah, exactly.
on a pace.
Right.
We have signs for a reason, guys. Like we've all adapted to new age technology, and in
Absolutely. Yeah.
addition to science. For some weird reason, there is a stronghold of what the older generation believes to be true and still believes it to be true. And so that's the fight that we get as strength and conditioning coaches. That what they believed 50 years ago is not what it is now.
Right. So it also too, like it all depends on the abilities of the strength and conditioning coach. Now you got certain strength coaches who went to school for many years and they understand everything about sports nutrition, sports psychology and sports adaptation and things like that. But then you're also dealing with no knowledge in a sport where you're getting sent into a square with no backup and getting punched in your face. You don't know what that's like. You don't know what it's like to get hit in your nose and your eyes get watery. You don't know what it's like to be exhausted and you got to fight for your life technically. They don't know that type of stuff. So because they don't, it makes it so much more difficult to sell what strength and conditioning could be if a person just goes in there and says, okay, give me 10 reps of this. Okay, give me 4 reps of that. Okay, today we're just going to do this. Today we're going to do that. And that's why most fighters, they do tend to overtrain. They do tend to burn out because not just the strength coach doing their thing, but you also have, you have the boxing coaches that works on legs. They do drills. They do sparring. They allow them to run. So in all honesty, like for my guys, when I got them in shape, we did 3 forms of running. We did one day it will be longevity run, one day will be time run, the other one will be more like a just a burn the fat type of run. So you have to, if you keep everything consistent and it's just going on and on and on, and you're doing the same routine every single day, you're not shocking the body. So you're not doing shit to get to that next level, which why certain fighters, they only get to that hump, but they can't go over the hill because there's
Well, and
not
I
a lot
think
of
that
people. I'm sorry, Rachel, go ahead.
right. No, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that that's why certain fighters can't get over a hump. Now, when you're dealing with a strength coach who has some sort of background in any combative sport, that is where the difference sets in at. So for me, every time I got boots ready for a camp, I didn't just come up with a plan and say, okay, we're going to do this now. We're going to do that now. No, there was an actual structure. So it's like when we did, all right. So for an example, I'd like to give this story because normally it's the best one to really reference when I get asked questions like this. But when we did Abreu, when we fought for Abreu, uh, I know that Arbreo's a dirty fighter. I also know that he likes to stay in your chest. I also know that he's strong. So for that specific fight, I studied Abreu. I studied Abreu for 3 different times of his boxing career: in the beginning, in the mid, at the peak, and also at the falling edge, to see which had bad habits he's easily susceptible to fall into. So now I'm like, okay, I'm studying. Okay, he's off balance on this shot, and it's more repetitive. So that means he can't fix that within a 6-8 week camp. So then now we're dealing with, okay, now he's open for this shot. So for Boots, I was like, look, I think it's going to be the uppercut. He's like, nah, it's going to be the a hook to the southpaw hook. And I'm like, nah, bro, it's going to be the uppercut. And he was like, all right, let's make a bet. So he bet like something stupid. So then in the videos, if you ever watch it, he's using a sandbag, practicing short shot uppercut, then a long shot uppercut. But everything was in close range. And what was the famous shot that everybody seen that was so amped up about it?
Uppercut.
It was the fucking uppercut. So it's like I already seen it coming.
That was with 10-ounce gloves, wasn't it?
Yes.
8 ounce.
So it was with 10-ounce gloves. So then I'm like, that's the shot. But that's not the first time I've done things like that. It's like, you got to know what you're up against. So for somebody like, say, the topic is basically you guys talking about Scooter and Inoue. So for Inoue, you got to understand it's not just what Inoue has done now. You got to look at Japan as an overall stylistic type of country. Like what type of fighters come out of there and how do they normally fight? It's not. It's a very rare breed that you go out there and you have a fantastic, Floyd Mayweather type of boxer that comes out of there and he could do what he got to do. No, you don't have that. You normally got guys that are really fast, lightweight, and they throw fast punches and they punchers. But at the end of the day, they have more of an angles because it's very popular to have martial arts in their background and, a lot of MMA, different types of techniques and whatnot. But that's what the factor comes in at. So for Scooter, I would do a lot of hand and eye coordination with speed control. So it would be more like throw your speed, and as soon as he turns, you turn, but make sure you're prepared. So as soon as he does turn, get prepared for any offense that you may have to use or defense that you may have to lose. But that always gives you that step
Yeah,
ahead.
I think that's the thing is that like you wouldn't go to a I'm just gonna say that you wouldn't go to a Muay Thai coach for a boxing match, right? And I feel like because strength and conditioning coaches are so new, people are blanketing on what they think of strength and conditioning coaches. I went to a camp where you know I was invited to look and see and observe, and I have a really bad like poker face, and I was literally thinking they were wasting their time. It was a 1 hour strength and conditioning set. They were doing more basketball drills
Yeah,
than they were doing, boxing drills. And so I said, I challenged them by the time I was leaving. I said, um, they're like, well, can you get this into your schedule? I was like, give me 30 minutes. You'll crawl by 12. And sure enough, it was like they didn't walk for 4 days after. And I was like, so what were you doing in the basketball drills? You were doing you were squaring up, something you would never do in boxing.
exactly. Yeah,
And you're and so I feel like because they don't understand what different strength and conditioning coaches have in the profession that they're going into, they Google strength and conditioning coach, and they pick out anyone and everyone. A lot of the ones in Vegas are freaking bodybuilders,
yeah, agree.
honestly. And they have them lifting absolutely ridiculously. And,
Yeah,
so, could you lift? Yes. Are you supposed to be lifting heavy to do slow twitch muscles? No. Should you be lifting lighter with more reps? Then yes, but that's not what these guys, especially in the bodybuilding industry, have you trained for. And you have to do your research just as much as if you were going to pick a boxing coach, you're doing your research. It's still new.
yeah,
And so we're still having to make our way. And just like he said, it's about tendencies, it's about habits. We at least as far as, when I was a martial artist, I look about foot placement. What are your habits that no matter what you do, you can't get out of it? You always do this. Yes, you can try to stick to the game plan for 4 rounds, but after the 4 rounds, you will fall back into your habit, what you're
right.
comfortable at
Exactly.
doing when I place you there. And that's
Right.
what I do with the sparring is I place you when I find out what the sparring guy is uncomfortable with, I'll tell Nonito, I'm like, take him this way. Oh, he doesn't like that way.
Right.
Let's take
Exactly.
him into deep waters. But that's not necessarily normal. We are stuck in a weird time loop of
Yeah.
1950s that it still hasn't taken of what you need to be looking for the right coaching staff, the right strength and conditioning, and even nutrition.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, like, to go off of that, a lot, nutrition is a major factor when it comes to everything. How many of you that are on right now would say, oh, I'm gonna start working out, and then Friday comes and you think that you can have a cheat day when technically you only been starting off just for that 1 week. You have one cheat day, then damn, man, I feel like shit the next day. I'm gonna go to the gym Monday and work it out. Then Monday comes and like, I'm kind of tired. I'm just gonna go ahead and work out on Tuesday. And then Tuesday comes and they're like, you know what, man, I'm gonna just take this week off and I'm gonna get fresh. I'm gonna detox and then I'm gonna get back on it on Monday. By then, you just lost a week.
You're right.
You understand what I'm saying? So it all depends on how you do it. And again, there's a lot of coaches, and I'm not downplaying anybody, but there's a lot of strength coaches who are masters at what they do for their specific expertise in whatever field. But then you have combative sports where you can't even get an MMA strength and conditioning coach and throw him in boxing. It just wouldn't work because for MMA, you got to do explosive power. You got to make sure that the guy has enough leg power and endurance to lift somebody up and slam, to clinch in the jiu-jitsu hold, and make sure that you continue to hold the glitch and learn how to breathe and things like that. There's more calming situations, where in boxing there's only two units that getting hit on the most, which is the body and the head. So everything plays a factor. Everything plays a factor. If I told all of you right now who are right-handed and say from now on for 2 weeks, I need you to hold everything with the left hand, and you guys complete the 2 weeks, but as soon as I throw something at you, you're going to try to catch it with the right hand, because it's a force of habit. You understand what I'm saying? So 2 weeks is not going to do enough justice. Just as much as if you train for 6 weeks, you're not going to eliminate a specific habit. So what Rachel's saying to her husband when he's boxing, it's like she could see something and be like, okay, he's not comfortable moving to his right. Keep pushing him towards your left side. Once you see the uncomfortable going, okay, just play with it a little bit. Don't show that that's what you want to do, but just keep playing with it. Then once you see the fatigue happen, then you take him over there all the way. And then you just pick dudes apart, and they have no idea how to make the adjustments. None.
No, it's yeah. When they get uncomfortable, like the thing is, like uncomfortable sets in, uncharted territory. You're looking at crossing feet. You're looking at them not being able to place a punch because they're not actually in a punch position,
Yeah.
but they doing it unknowingly, and that's what you want to expose.
Right. Right. So that's what it is. Damn. Everybody just got quiet and shit.
No, we were
I
shit.
think we went too deep.
Man, y'all fuck.
Keep bringing it back up.
Man, y'all fuck.
I was just
We were
listening.
sitting there,
That is interesting. Yeah.
we were sitting there letting them cook. So
Homeboy,
so
homeboy come.
wait, finally, right? I actually get to talk about this shit because it's officially been announced. Fulton versus Inoue, fucking May 7th. Been sitting on this shit for like 3 fucking weeks, man.
Nice. May 7th. That's even faster.
Yes.
That's 2 months. Today. That's like 8 weeks. That's
Ooh.
8 out.
Yeah.
8 or 9 weeks out. What's today? Today is the 6th. That's about 9 weeks away.
About
Interesting.
6 years, man. Damn.
That's good. When you think Fulton, based on what you know about, based on what y'all two know about strength and condition, and you already been to Japan, Rachel, when do you think it's a good time for Fulton to go over there? 3 weeks, a month? What would you think is a good time?
I think 3 weeks at the latest. Like you're battling jet lag too. Like you'll wake up in the middle of the night, and honestly, I don't know what the COVID restrictions are right now, because when we went, we were the reason why Nonito had a what is it called, a treadmill put up in his hotel room was because we were downed for about 3 days.
Mm.
And it's not a joke. Like they literally have this app that tracks you. Like it tracks your IP, where you are. You have to like talk for 30 seconds. They capture your image, every freaking thing. So their COVID restrictions aren't a joke, but I don't know where that stands right now.
Yeah, it's a lot, because even when you're on a plane and you're traveling for so long, you got to even be cautious on what you eat, because at a high altitude, your body will retain the most water. So you can't just even have certain foods on the plane. You got to be very light, and you got to consume like light fruits with water based, or think of other ways to do that. Now once you land, you got to now get adjusted to the environment. You got to get adjusted to the area. You got to get adjusted to the food, because they don't sell the same things in their ingredients that they sell over here. So
Yep.
now you got to make those adjustments. And I never been to Japan, but it will be something that it's a lot to study prior to adding into the camp. You know what I mean? Like you're just gonna have to figure out a lot of things.
And what about
Dude,
Spence?
YSM, like you never knew this. Like I'll tell you this. Like so there's a picture that was circulating around me after during the Inoue press conference. And we took a group picture and you could see a huge bruise on my arm. And I didn't talk about it. But literally because Japan had such a strong mask restriction, and once you went on Japan Airlines, they required you to wear a mask. Mind you, the US hadn't had us wear a mask for quite some time. When I wore the mask for whatever, 14 plus hours or whatever, I actually had to go to the emergency room because I had an infection from the mask and be put on antibiotics. That's what that bruise came from a sea of antibiotics.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah,
Go, yeah.
Yeah, 14 hours with I couldn't do it. Man, that
No.
Nah, I need about 3 or 4 connecting flights or something.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, man. It's a whole lot. Now, it also too, what's another factor is how Scooter is getting over there. Are they private jet? Are they flying with everyone else? Like that's all key to what you have to know. And that's Inoue's hometown. So he's already comfortable where he is. So he already has the advantage at landing.
I think it's pros and cons to both too, because eventually he fighting in front of them people. This is a big fight right there. So
yeah,
Scooter is he appears to me to be mentally strong.
Right.
So it's pros and cons to both too. He fighting in front of all those people. He got a pressure 122. He fighting a slick style he ain't used to. So that's why I say I'm gonna give him in the top 5 pound for pound for the winner.
Nah, Lee, you done forgot something, man. You come on. You said that he stood up to Al Heyman, so this ain't nothing for him.
Yeah, you gotta give him. You gotta give him pound for pound for standing up to Al Heyman. You gotta come on, Lee. You gotta keep that same energy.
Hey Earl, if you listening, you better talk to Steve.
Oh my God,
you'll get that fight real fast. Talk to Fulton, bro.
Oh,
yo,
God.
but I'm definitely happy that they made this fight. All parties involved. It shows Inoue's mindset. It shows Cool Boy's mindset, and may the best man win. But best believe, Inoue ain't got no belts, but that W is coming back to West Philly, and there's going to be a whole bunch of little chicks that's going to be getting their rent paid. The city's going to be lit.
Yeah.
Courtesy. What's the promoter's name, Rach?
Tekken and Ohashi.
Oh yeah.
Courtesy of Tekken, man. They got the city lit, man.
It's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good fight.
Hey, Rob, what's your prediction of the fight?
I got Scooter. Because it's in Japan, I'm gonna say 8 rounds to 4, 7 rounds to 5, possibly a split decision.
Yeah.
But I got Scooter being in situations where he's gonna have to force to make adjustments. And the one thing that I've learned about Scooter was when he fought Brandon Figueroa, is that he was able to withstand Brandon and fight his game plan. I don't think that he can fight Inoue's game plan and use those same type of angles, use everything else. He basically got to go in there and be the more higher IQ type of fighter and fight smart. You know what I mean? But if I'm gonna go, but put my money on anything, it's gonna be Scooter. I think that the moving up the weight is going to be a factor. That's why I asked the question about the WADA or the VADA. You know what I mean? Who's going to take over the anti-doping agency? Because now VADA, they got their restrictions on certain banned substances, but in the Asian countries, some of those substances, it's not even on the list. So it does play a major factor on how this whole thing gets played out.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I know it's 9 weeks away. I'm looking forward to that fight.
Traditional boxer puncher versus boxer.
Yo, he already started. He already started in camp, and you know who's one of his sparring partners, Lee?
Who?
Salim Bey.
That's shout out to Salim Bey. Shout out to that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yo, that's how you know we old now.
Yeah.
Man, Salim Bey is in a world title camp. Yo.
That's nice for Salim. Salim, but listen, Salim, listen, Salim, but to be like feature pound for pound, he probably
But it also depends too on like the corner. Like when the options of your checklist becomes unavailable, where you're going through every single situational thing and it doesn't work out, what is your corner going to say to you to make those other adjustments? So it's a lot to really play into this fight. Like there is just more. This is bigger than just Scooter and Enaway. This is a good thing for Wa'id. This is a good thing for Enaway's team. This is like, trainer versus trainer, fighter versus fighter, coach versus coach, strength coach versus strength coach, cutman versus cutman. This is a big deal.
Versus styles. You were saying the Japanese style. Well, I don't know if there is a Japanese style, but
that's what I'm saying. So even for Japanese, like a lot of countries in Asia and Japan and South Asia and anywhere like that, martial arts is a very, very big thing. And it actually became more popular to study more than one martial art after Bruce. So when Bruce made it popular to study different types of martial arts because he had the ability to show a flaw in every style, people just started learning from other styles and then putting it all together, which is what Jeet Kune Do is. Now, when they started learning all that stuff, it's like that's what they started to do. So boxing, it's like, okay, we don't have to kick, but we have to use the same angle. So a lot of techniques and conditioning stuff, you can use it for boxing, but you can't use all of it because it doesn't apply to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot to play, a whole lot to get in.
Who's considered the greatest Japanese fighter of all time?
I have no idea.
probably anywhere now.
Probably yeah. That's so. He got a lot. He got a lot of pressure on him. He got a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, but in reality, think about it. It's either going to be a make or break situation because Pacquiao had a whole country behind him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he performed. So it doesn't matter. I think that it's all about the investment that he has behind him. Like, hopefully he doesn't fold under a serious epic pressure because you got certain guys, football players, who play great in the game, do great in the playoffs. But when it comes down to the Super Bowl, they get that mindset that, okay, this is the Super Bowl. I can't fuck up. And that's where you go wrong. But that's where the psychological part comes in at. Right. And in reality, boxers need psychological help. They do.
Bro, you're right, man. Like a sports psychologist. You're right.
It'll be wise. Think about it, bro. I'm gonna ask everybody in here. Besides, Rachel, you're not the only one you're the only one that can't answer this. But let me ask y'all a question, right? So if I say any of you want to learn how to box, before you answer it, do not think of boxing as an offensive sport. Like, you're not going to be the one punching. Just think about it this way. You're going to get punched in the face, and you got to be okay with it. You could get a broken nose, broken over the bone. You could get your jaw broken. You could get knocked out in front of your family. You're not going to make a lot of money. You could possibly die during the sport. You still want to do it?
Hell no.
Nope.
No.
You see what I'm saying? So it takes a special motherfucker to really go in there and say, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I'll do it.
Hey, Rach, what is it like competing in Taekwondo?
Oh, it's fun. Like literally, Nonito and I had this discussion when I was still fighting, and Ronda Rousey wasn't making the money at the time in UFC, but if I could have, I would have gone into MMA.
You got something to echo.
I think
yeah, someone has
what? D got a D.
Is that mine?
Nah.
because when you speak, D is coming up.
Yeah, getting a lot of feedback from you.
Rachel, you were an Olympian, right?
I was an alternate. But the thing is, I love combative sports. Who has the echo? Jesus.
Hey, YSM, you got to mute it.
I muted mine, but somebody on here got a echo.
He
has the.
He stepped away, so he press mute. So mute him.
Are you good now? No, you have to mute him, YSM.
No, I think you're good now.
All right.
I don't know. We good?
Go ahead.
We good? Okay, perfect. No, like you're like he was saying, like it takes a different type of person that wants to go out there and literally dish out what's being given and 2 fucks to the wind.
Yeah.
You know, like I was in the military. I volunteered for Afghanistan. Like I didn't care about my life. I was ready to dish out. And if my life was on the line, then it was on the line. You talk about sniper rifles, you talk about Glocks, you talk about freaking hand-to-hand. But it was because of the fact that MMA and UFC women weren't making what, Ronda Rousey wasn't that big when I was in Taekwondo. So Nonito and I sitting in a sauna, and I'm doing it for the glory of Taekwondo, and there's no professional. And Nonito actually being a professional boxer, we had to make the decision because both of us running 5 miles and him losing, 5 pounds and me losing 1.2, someone was going to be murdered in that house. So I had to, I had to put that situation for me to put hands on people away. But it does take a switch. There's a switch.
Wait, I can't say that, Rach, because legend has it you put some paws on people when you came to the East Coast.
No comment. I do not confirm nor deny the statement that you're talking about.
Like you need to write a book too. That'd be you talking like some movie stuff. Like you should write a book. Real talk. I don't know what the name of it be, but it'll be. I think you'll be able to write a good book.
Yeah, we used to we would play. So Spencer's was one of those novelty stores. They sold plastic cards, and we would buy the plastic cards so we could play in the sauna just to pass time, just to cut the weight. Yeah. So we weren't thinking, because of course the paper cards, they would melt in your hand, right? So we bought the plastic cards, we would play, we would talk, just for however long it meant for us to cut the weight for that day. I've cut, I cut the most extreme for me was 10 pounds in 2 days. It wasn't fun. Fucking sucked.
You know what though, too, for Rachel, I don't know, Rachel, if you feel, you can interrupt me at any time if you disagree with it, but if someone who has the type of martial arts style that she has, she can't just jump into MMA and then have that dominant experience like she would in the tournament with Taekwondo. Taekwondo is a lot of leg work, so it's a lot of hopping, a lot of feints with the legs, and then a lot of flexibility. So that would be like a wrestler's dream to try to go for the legs first. So
correct. And my where I grew up in was more of a traditional Taekwondo, not the Olympic style. So I actually had someone as old as Eddie Croft as one of my instructors. So that's why I knew how to throw hands. Right. We did basic jiu-jitsu, but for sure a ground game was more so of my weakness. I mean, we saw it with the last fight with the UFC with John Jones. Yeah. He was a Muay Thai. The guy he was fighting was a Muay Thai world champion. So, you can try your best, world champion status or not, but when you get to the ground, your experience on a ground game is going to prove to be detrimental.
Right, right. So that's what I'm saying. So even for an Americanized Muay Thai, it's completely different than a Thailand Muay Thai. They study the art of 8 limbs. So where here in America, they don't do headbutts, they don't do elbow strikes, they don't do knees to chin. They don't do none of that shit. So
Yeah.
it's for someone here, Muay Thai, you'll kick somebody ass that knows Muay Thai. But if you go to Bangkok, where they train at 130-degree weathers, and they're cracking coconuts with their elbows and shit like that, that's a whole different animal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
No, it was just my desire to put hands on people. That's it.
yeah.
That's
But
literally.
it's just interesting because she made a logic choice where it's like, okay, Nonito's doing what he's doing. He's being great at it, and look at the success that you've gotten after that. Like, you're not just a supporter for his end on in-house sort of feel, but you do the strength and conditioning, you do the managing, and you've gained enough experience where you can now share the knowledge, and you never had to put hands on people during the business, even though you wanted to.
Yeah.
And so there's
I
the
want to
success
though.
either way. Yeah, of course, anybody does.
Yo, that's funny as shit because I can imagine like a guy like fucking Rick Glaser talking all kinds of reckless, and I would pay big money to see you just kick Rick on the
Yo,
side
you
of
know,
his
be
fucking
funny.
I
head.
put money on
Dude,
that
one
too.
of them.
You know.
Wait. Mill has to say, like, he literally has been trying to find a nickname for me. He's like, "You my dude." I was like, "Okay."
Yo, you know what's funny is that I don't know if you guys watch Step Brothers, but Rachel's probably the type that'll say, "I'll roundhouse your ass."
Nope, I agree.
Yo, you
I
signed a
agree.
fucking contract. Well, I'm gonna roundhouse your ass.
Yep.
That's funny as shit.
But that's the thing. Like I said, it's more. It's super combat for me. Like I know, like we went to the Philippines, and then we did. God damn! Here goes the echo again. We did snipers, and we did
Dirk, you got an echo, Dirk.
yeah, we did sniper and we did handgun. I think with I thought, did they give me a Glock that time? And it was 20 meters, and I hit the target off of 20 meters. So like there's something I just love it. Like even if it's going to be a gunfight, like I just want to go out there. So that's why, like, with me being his manager, like, I'm like, okay, well, you can't put hands on me. That's literally what I said when I went into boot camp. When I went into boot camp, all the girls were crying, and they came up to me because I wasn't crying. And they're like, why aren't you crying? It's like 12 o'clock at night. And I said, can you touch me? And they're like, reporting statement. I was like, okay, training Marcial reports is ordered. Can you touch me? And they're like, what kind of stupid ass question is that? I'm like, if you can't touch me, you can yell at me until you're blue in the damn face. If you can't touch me, I'm good. Continue.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I was like, come on, dude. Like, this is nothing when it comes to combat training.
That's some interesting stuff. I'm on the East Coast. Jamil, thanks for having me on, man. Nice meeting everybody on the panel. Rob the Alchemist, Rachel. Shout out to y'all. Nice meeting y'all. I'm out of here, man.
All right, man. Take care.
You just ducking, man. You talking about the East Coast. We all in the East Coast too, man. Come on,
Yo,
man.
he said he really ain't in the East Coast. He down in the fucking Southeast.
It's 12:13, bro. I gotta go to bed, bro.
It's like 70 degrees down there, bro.
It is.
Word. Oh, man.
Yeah, so Mill's been trying to find like a nickname for me because he's like, you're my bro, you're my dude. I'm like, yeah, you can find a better nickname for me at this point.
Yo, it's like fucking talking to a pretty guy with long hair, yo, because she says shit like one of us. It's fucking hilarious.
That's funny.
No, Nito's laughing right now. Oh shit! Like that, like literally when he brought me to that club, like I said I wanted to go to one club. He's like, nah, you want to go to this one. If you want to go to that kind of club, we're gonna go to this club. And he's like, you good with this? I'm like, yeah. Where did you want me to go? To the W? I'm like,
yeah, but you like, oh, yo, the only thing I can like describe her as like a sophisticated ratchet. Like She likes like high-end champagne. But like she was if anybody listening, if you don't know what Kensington is the worst neighborhood in the world. Like, it's top 5. Like I've never been in the Philippines or whatnot, but it's our equivalent to one of those neighborhoods. It's the worst drug area on planet Earth. And she was down there and she didn't hit her nor Nonito flinched. Like I'm expecting them to be like, oh well, maybe we can find a different place, but nah, like so it definitely threw me off.
Well, you know what though, too, Mel, like depending on where they grew up, they're probably looking at our area like, oh, this is not that bad.
No, Nino literally grew up on East 14th.
No, but here's the thing though. Like, think about it, Mil. She went to Afghanistan. So she had to keep her head on a swivel the entire time. You're going to a bar that's known, and you're with the person who's affiliated with everyone that owns it. So it's like, I feel safe.
Yo, but at the same time, bro, you know how many people are scared from Philly that are scared.
Yeah. But that's people that's outsiders. We're not talking about people who be like they just went to war and they shot a gun, or they can roundhouse you while brushing their teeth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just different.
Yo, but at the same time, I thought that Rachel was a desk jockey.
Okay.
Like I knew she could fight because I knew she did Taekwondo, but I thought she was more in like administration. I didn't think that,
It was funny. They came up like pretty decently dressed, like waiting for me to say, "Hey, yo, we need to go to the W or something." But like, I was like, "Oh, cool! They have a menu. Can I get crabs?" Like, crabs off the menu, everything. I was like, "Cool, all right, we good. Good music, good people. I'm good. We're fine."
That's pretty funny.
Oh shit!
Yo, Mil, I'm a log off because I got a busy morning in the morning. I gotta work.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've been on for 3 hours. I'm about to go to sleep, man. Shit.
No, I'm just so happy that I caught you live. I haven't caught you live, so thanks for having me. And it was great talking to all you guys. Like I loved this panel and the vibe.
Appreciate you hopping on, y'all. All everybody in the chat. Shit, I rarely go live. But yeah, thanks. We're 3 hours strong. Great discussion. Yeah, why is social media? We out. Appreciate you.